Hello there, and welcome to Playtendoguy and Andy Goes Live with special guests AJ's Movie Place and Paul Tambs.
How's it going, man? Cheers for having me.
Yeah, no problem. How all been doing today? Had a good day?
Very well. Yeah, very well. Just working. That's about it.
Yeah, I've had a rare Tuesday off, so I've literally just been catching up on films, doing a few videos and whatnot, just chilling out.
Cool. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, same. Just working from home and caught up on a film or two after work. So yeah.
Nice. So, what was the latest film you've watched? For me, it was the original Ip Man. I watched that one last night and really enjoyed it. It was a fun martial arts film, and it had a good bit of history to it because I think it's actually based on real events, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Donnie Yen was brilliant, and I really enjoyed that. I'll have to watch the sequels.
I've only seen the first one as well. I've never watched any of the sequels, but Donnie Yen, I watch him at anything.
So, yeah.
Seen them. Not seen the first one.
Haven't you? Oh, they really are. Well, the first one's a really good martial arts film, and it's got a good story to it. I think the sequels go a bit more out there from what I've heard, but if you like your martial arts films, it's definitely worth a watch.
Give it a try.
So, what was the last film you watched, AJ?
Saturday night. Actually, I watched Kate. I started watching Kate Saturday night.
Oh.
I fell asleep. I watched it Sunday night. It's not a knock on the film. I was just tired.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I was reluctant going into it because you've had recent films like Milkshake, Compound Milkshake, or whatever it was called, and Joel, and they weren't very good. And this sort of looked like that sort of guilt film.
Right.
No, it was good. Mary Elizabeth Winstead handled herself well in it, I thought. And the physicality of the role, she done very well. It was good.
Nice.
Is that feedback from me?
What do you say?
Have you got feedback?
Yeah. Can you hear feedback? I think I can.
I kind of little bit, but it's not like distracting or anything.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. No.
Right.
Ryan is actually here, so I'll let him join the stream. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, finally I'm here.
How's it going, man?
It's gone all right, huh?
Yeah. We were wondering where you were.
I'm just like.
Oh, don't worry about
where I was.
We forgot to do a quiz. So that's a good one. Yeah. So, what was the last film you watched, Andy?
Oh yeah.
For me, I rewatched Black Widow before. I probably enjoyed it more second time.
I know the reviews were quite kind of mixed on it, but it looks all right. I haven't seen it.
For me, it's not one of the best. It's the definition of mediocre. It's fine. It's not good and it's bad. It's just
middle of the road.
It's just middle of the road.
Yeah. I enjoyed it first time round, and then on second viewing it dropped off a bit.
More, yeah.
I think it was because of the fact we hadn't had a Marvel film for quite a while. I was quite excited going into it, and then second time it just sort of,
Yeah.
What about you, Ron? What was the last film you watched?
You know what I watched Aquarium of the Dead a couple hours ago, and I'm going to say it's shit. That's all I'm saying. Shit. Like one of the worst movies I've seen in my bloody life. CGI is terrible. Someone got killed by a walrus.
Really
straight from the point. Yeah, and there was like there was a killer called. It was like so somebody ended up getting eaten, I was like, the CGI, God's sake. It was fucking like, I can tell it was low budget because it was written by, must have been written by the assignment, in my opinion. Absolutely terrible. I don't recommend it to anyone, even though Jason's actually got a copy of it.
Yeah, but he didn't have to pay too much for it. He found it in a charity shop, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, what did you
Sure,
watch
you must have
last
expected
time?
that going into it.
Yeah. Cool. So, what did you watch last time, Paul?
I watched Kate on Friday when it come out. I was the same as AJ. I was like, this is going to be a film I've seen a million times before. It was, but I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favourite action films of the year. It's not as good as Nobody, but I love Elizabeth Winstead anyway, and it was an absolute badass in it. She was cool, man. There was loads of cool fight scenes in it. Everything you expect from them sort of films. It was a good surprise for a Netflix film. Yeah, for a Netflix film, surprised the hell out of me. And like I just said before we come live, I'll watch *Malignant* again this morning. Enjoyed that more the second time around. I think if you didn't like it the first time round, you need to watch it again. It worked for me the second time round. And we watched *Spiral* again this afternoon.
What did you think of Spiral, and did you like it or not?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best Saw sequels. It's not as good as the first three. Like, I always class the first three Saw films as a little trilogy, which I like, and then I'll take or leave the other ones. But I quite like that one. It was a bit different, but still felt like a Saw film.
Cool. Because I've never actually seen a Saw film, so I'm wondering like which would be the best one to start off with. The original one.
Do you know the twist?
No.
Oh, mate, yeah. Like, I recommend watch the first Saw film. If you don't know anything about it, I reckon I remember watching it when it first came out in the cinema. Didn't really know nothing about it. I just sort of went in with a few of my friends, and the ending is one of my favourite endings of any horror film ever.
Cool. I'll have to watch the original one and cool.
Tonally, the first one is tonally different to all the others, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit more grounded, isn't it?
Yeah, the first one doesn't rely on that sort of gore porn as much as what the others did.
Yeah, it's a bit more grounded. It's gory, but it's a lot more grounded. And then they literally pushed the boat out with all the other sequels. And that kept trying to up the ante every time.
Yeah. I've not seen all of them. Not really my cup of tea, to be honest. I did watch Spiral. I didn't mind it. I've only probably seen maybe the first three Saws. I've actually got them, but I've not watched the others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll have to get round to that one. Another one to add to the huge watch list. Yeah. Let's go on to the comments. And first up, we have Jason here. Hello, gentlemen. Hope everyone's good. Thanks for joining, Jason. Jules is here. Hi, guys. Thanks for watching, Jules. Comments all gone weird. Sophie's here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Soph. Hope you're doing well.
Hiya.
As is Edward. Hi, mate. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
Sophie says, what film has affected you the most? For example, made you sad, angry, the film that has given you the biggest feelings? Hope that makes sense. Ooh, that is a good question.
I've got an answer straight away.
Have you? What is it?
The Green Mile. The Green Mile is one of my favourite films of all time. It takes a lot for a film to pull like sad emotions out of me. That does it on cue every single time I revisit it. Every single time, without fail. The music, the setup at the end, the whole scene, man tears.
Another one I haven't seen.
Oh, put it on the list.
Yeah, I've actually got it, so that's one thing. I've got.
No one ever talks about how good Sam Rockwell is in that film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not happy with you because you haven't seen all these films. Like,
Yeah, Sam Rockwell's a mad bastard in, isn't he?
Yeah. He's so good, mate.
Yeah.
Just no one gives him the
What's going
praise.
on?
What about you, Ryan?
Oh no, he's back.
Yeah.
Me, nothing really gets my emotions, really. I
Really?
need to sit down and watch it.
So no film has made you angry or feel sad?
Unless the shit.
I can think of one film that's made me feel angry, and that's Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Fucking Justice League, me. Fucking like that.
Yeah, Justice League as well. Yes, we could be here all night talking about them, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, that's, you know, literally, right? That's going to be us on Friday. Basically, like first half hour Justice League. then it'll probably like end up with with us talking about some like other random shit. What it is.
Hot take: Last Jedi is one of my favorite Star Wars.
Really? I'm gonna have to rewatch it again to see if my opinion changes. But honestly, Last Jedi for me just made me angry, and I just couldn't wait until it finished.
I was more angry with The Rise of Skywalker than Last Jedi. Just because I feel like The Rise of Skywalker sort of the story writers sort of took the tail between the legs with all the backlash from that film, from Last Jedi. Sort of made this story to try and please everyone, and you can tell when you're watching it, 'cause it's all over the place.
Yeah,
I remember walking out. I went to a midnight showing of Rise of Skywalker, and I was walking out, literally scratching my head like, okay.
I know a lot of fans come out of the cinema after Rise of Skywalker and was really disappointed. Definitely.
Yeah.
I was Force Awakens though.
I think that whole trilogy has issues. The first one's nothing but a remake of A New Hope.
Everyone says that.
Last Jedi. The thing is, with Last Jedi, I feel that it's the most mature of the three of them, right? As in, it's the best shot one. Give it that. Story-wise, it is the most emotionally mature. Problem is, they had no blueprint. They've done one film, they had someone else do a second, then change it up, and then go back with a third one. That whole trilogy is a mess.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Complete mess.
Yeah. 100%. They should have kept it with one director all the way through.
Yeah. Should have had a plan. Yeah, they should have had a roadmap of where they were going.
Yeah, it just felt like they bought the Star Wars property and just went running ahead to make a new trilogy. They should have planned it out years ahead and shouldn't release the film every year.
I agree.
Oh, there is one film that actually I do despise, and that is Terminator Genesis.
Jenny Smith. Fucking terrible film, mate.
I fucking know that one, mate. I had to sit down when I was watching it when I was 15.
I'm walking out
the bullshit.
Yeah, that film was badly cast. Relied too much on what's come before.
Yeah,
it was yeah. I mean, what's her face from Game of Thrones? Sarah Connor.
No,
Courtney's just interchangeable to. He's instantly forgettable. I don't know why anyone casts him in anything. Yeah, that was a mess, Genesis.
Yeah,
you see, in my opinion, I thought Jason Clark was wasted in that movie.
You thought it was what? Sorry,
wasted.
See, I think there's something going on with the internet. I didn't know which connections keeps.
Genesis has got into your computer.
The connection.
Yeah, Genesis is a mess.
And I can hear feedback as well.
Yeah.
To answer Sophie's question, the film that's made me sad.
Everyone's froze.
If you want to know a film that's actually made me cry, physically cry, when I was younger, Harry and the Hendersons at the end.
Oh.
Right? Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's one that gets me. And for TV, Doctor Who, David Tennant,
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
says goodbye.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I was in floods of tears. The kids were loving it. They still got me today for that.
Yeah. Definitely when David Tennant
I
left
think the
Doctor
day when
Who.
me and Peter are going to be happy. One day, me and Peter are going to be happy is when Jodie Whittaker regenerates.
When she leaves Doctor Who.
Yeah, but it's not until next year, which I'm totally pissed off with.
Yeah. Another film that made me cry was E.T.
Yeah.
Oh, E.T. the paedophile. It's like what Rob said. You know, he's got a thing for pointing his finger at people. You know, you must have done something wrong with that finger.
Oh man.
Totally.
What about you, Andy?
I've only ever cried at one film, and that was Marley and Me.
Marley and Me, yeah. That's a very.
I needed therapy after that.
Mm.
Particularly now that I own a dog as well. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, I remember watching it for the first time. That did get me in tears.
Yeah. That was rough.
Mm.
That was rough.
Yeah.
I don't know where Ryan's gone.
See what?
Coming on late. Just waiting for the laptop to reload. Oh, you're here. Any horror fans watch new horror? Don't know what you mean by there, Joe. Ooh, nice new haircut, Andy.
Thanks, Jules.
All right, me babbers, Bristolian Dave here. Thanks for joining, Dave. Edward says, "What's your favourite version of A Star Was Born?"
I've only seen the newest one, and it was my favourite film of 2019. Loved it. And I didn't think I would at all. But my mate kept saying to me, "You need to go watch it, you need to go watch it." So I did, and I felt that film fantastic.
There's an extended cut, isn't there?
Oh, is that?
Slightly longer.
I've only seen the theatrical cut. I didn't know there was an extended one, but I'll have to check it out.
There's an extended version. I can't remember the name of it. Like what they give it.
I think it's called the Encore Edition, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I saw that. I've not seen the original.
Box set of it.
Okay.
How many different versions of Star Was Born is there?
3, I think.
I think there's 3, isn't there?
I think there's like a really old one, like an 80s one or 70s.
I think there's Judy Garland and somebody else, isn't there?
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand. That's the one.
I've seen the Bradley Cooper one, and I've seen the Judy Garland one.
Yeah.
What's the Judy Garland one like?
Very good. It's got a bit of a weak start, but for me, the second and third act is really good. When it's got that version of like the award ceremony, it's like the Oscars, where like in the Bradley Cooper one, he pisses himself. I really dug that scene in the Judy Garland one. But yeah, I probably am gonna say the Bradley Cooper version, to be honest. But I do still enjoy that Judy Garland.
I remember I have seen the new one and quite enjoyed it. I thought Lady Gaga was really good in it. I think she's a very good actress, and I think this new one she's going to do, is it called The House of Gucci? I think that's going to be quite a surprising film.
She's very talented.
With yourself in.
Ryan, are you there?
Skynet's got him.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm just picking a colour.
Right,
what's it? What's your favourite version of A Star Is Born? Never seen it.
You haven't even seen the new one?
No. It's on my list.
Oh, you've got it on your list. Next up, we've got Matt here. Good evening, Matt.
Oh, Matt,
Thanks for joining.
Right.
I actually think he's just literally just subscribed me before we come on live, so thank you.
Yeah, Matt needs it. Matt's got some wonderful sets.
Yes, he has. He's got a really great channel.
Yeah, I'm jealous of some of the stuff that he's got. And when I find out where he lives, I'm coming around and robbing it. He's like a connoisseur. A Blu-ray connoisseur.
I've got amazing videos with all his different editions of films, and they're very impressive.
Oh,
I'm like that with what's this channel called? Euphoria something.
Euphoria.
Oh my god! His videos, man. Sometimes I'm not even listening to what he said. That sounds horrible, but I'm just looking in the background like what he's got. I'm like, oh.
There's so much stuff he's got. I mean, the special editions he orders from online are unbelievable.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
Matt says, anyone seen the new trailer for Hawkeye, and what's your thoughts?
Maybe excited for Christmas.
Of course I have. I think it looks really good. I was excited from day one when they announced Haley Steinfeld anyway. I think she's a wonderful actress. She'll bring a lot to the role of Kate Bishop. It's about time Hawkeye got front and centre anyway. People have a moan that he's the weakest Avenger, but he's the one who brings the humanity to the team. And it just looks really fun. It looks really good. It's really good.
I'm glad they
it's a lot of TV series. And he was on the series.
Yeah, I'm glad they've done it as a TV series, not film, because it gives it time to breathe a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great series. Isn't there going to be like a Miss Marvel series or not?
Yes, that's coming late,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not coming late 2021.
In terms of the comic, she's a relatively new character. Hasn't actually been around too long. I don't know too much about her. She's got stretchy arms and big hands.
Yeah, because I played the recent Marvel Avengers game, and whilst the game wasn't very good, I thought her character was the best thing about the game.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer for Hawkeye, Andy?
Yeah. I just echo what you guys have said. Intrigued. Looking forward to Christmas with it. Yeah.
Matt says, what's your thoughts on the Matrix Resurrections trailer? Looks interesting. Yeah, it does. I don't know why we need another Matrix film, the fourth film, after so long. It just seems like a cash grab. That being said, I've only just watched the first Matrix film at the weekend. I did enjoy it, but I haven't seen the sequels yet. It's just hard to watch the trailer without thinking of John Wick, because he looks exactly like John Wick in the trailer.
I think he's filming John Wick 4 at the same time. I think that's what he told me.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. It's kind of strange.
What he said there, interesting. That's the word I'm going with. That trailer, I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away. But it was more like I was interested. I was like, oh, what's going on here? What's going on there? I wasn't like, oh, this looks amazing. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with it. Like you said so far, when the last one was like 2003, so a long time ago.
It's coming out at Christmas and all, isn't it? Surprisingly.
You got Hawkeye, Matrix, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's coming out against Spider-Man, which it seems a bit silly. Yeah. Have you seen the trailer, AJ?
I have, yeah. It looks interesting. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the Matrix. I thought the first one was very overhyped. It was okay. I enjoyed it, but I thought it was what it done for effects and that was amazing with a bit of time. But the other two Matrix films I've only ever seen once a piece. Not the biggest fan, but the new one does look interesting. The way that what they're going about with the story of it, and with Keanu Reeves having a revival of late, there's a bit of interest there. You know, I think he's better now than what he used to be.
Yeah. What do you think of it, Andy?
Yeah, just the same as you guys. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the Matrix films in general. I think the first one's the best, but I don't hate 2 and 3 like everyone else sort of does. I can sort of get some level of enjoyment from 2 and 3. I know they're not great films, but yeah, it's just one of them. We're just gonna have to wait and see what it's like.
Yeah.
Really.
What about you, Ryan?
Right. With me was the Matrix, right? I just think they shouldn't have made a new movie. I just felt that the first one should have just been a standalone film. That's what it should have been.
I agree.
But no, the only reason they made the sequel is because it's done well and they just wanted to make more profit.
More money.
Yeah.
So basically, with the new one, it's just melting it. It's just Warner Brothers trying to make more money. That's what it is. Like, it looks good, anything, right? Like what I'm seeing from the new one, I actually think it's just a reboot to the first one. What it is, what I'm seeing from it. Then, and the thing what like absolutely pissed me off is they replaced Lawrence Fishburne. So now someone else is playing Morpheus now, and that's just totally.
Apparently, that's got something to do with a video game of the Matrix Online or something. And something actually happened to Lawrence Fishburne's character to make him change appearance. That's been going around online, the description why, but I don't know whether that's correct.
That's that Yahya seeing the second playing like a young Morpheus. He's an awesome actor, so I'll look forward to seeing it in the moment.
For me, I'm just more excited for John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah, that's all I'm caring about.
Yeah, the cast in that looks astounding. The amount of names they've got lined up. Yeah. Edward says, who picked up Black Widow this week? Not me, but probably will do at the weekend.
I still need to collect all the films. I think I might just get mine digital.
Yeah.
I've got no way.
What about you?
No, I think I messaged you, Andy, saying, "Oh, these dropped today."
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll probably get it the weekend. I do want it. I need to get it just because the OCD Marvel collection. Again, it's the middle of the road Marvel film. I enjoyed it, but I'll pick it up. I haven't got it.
What about you, AJ?
I'd still book notification for shipping happened about half hour ago. Zabby.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because I've heard there seem to be a lot of issues with the Steelbook being dispatched from Zabby. Quite disappointing, really. You thought that'd be there for day release.
I don't think I've ever got anything off Zabby day release, ever.
I know.
No,
I know.
never
Some of the
had
stuff I've ordered from Zabby is unbelievable. I think H&V is much better to order from.
Yeah, exactly.
Jill says, saw Karen earlier, very different.
I keep seeing everyone talking about this, Karen. I've no idea what it is, but I've seen a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard of it. I've just seen people mention it.
Karen.
Yeah, it's called Karen.
Karen. That's a film. Karen. Wait a minute. I think I know what this Karen film is about. I know. I think I know what Karen is about because the whole thing and everything. They just made a film. You know, because of the term Karen, you know, like the racists and everything. It's all based around that. That's what it is. So basically, they just made a film all about some person called Karen, who's like racist, like black people and all that kind of stuff. That's what it is. So basically, they just took it from the idea of the meme Karen and that kind of thing. That's what it is.
It's got 2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh, that tells you fun. Oh man. Matt says, "What year did you start collecting physical media?"
1993.
Wow.
I can't remember.
Oh, bloody hell. I want to say maybe 1985.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think I remember. Like, I've gone through VHS, I've gone through DVD, and now we're on Blu-ray 4K. So I literally can't remember. I must have been very young when I started. I used to always go car boot sales with my mum and dad when I was a kid, just buy loads of VHS and that. They're all in the archives in the garage at my mum's.
Now, I remember you going down to Woolworths looking for the new releases, and you had about a 3 or 4 year between theatrical release sale, opposed to about 3 months.
For me, I think it was like probably 1999, 2000, because I started collecting like loads of VHSs when I was a kid. I got hordes left upstairs in the attic.
Mine are all gone. But yeah, VHS, Laserdisc, I've done for a while. Yeah.
Matt says, "What's your most treasured physical media edition you would never never part with?"
Haven't got any special most treasured edition. They're too much money.
Oh, that's a nice steelbook. Never seen it yet, but that's nice. Yeah.
You're in for a treat.
I don't think there's anything I would never part with. I don't think I've got anything like you won't be able to buy again or anything like that in my collection.
Yeah.
I would happily sell something if it could get a profit on it and flip it for a decent price to buy something else. But I don't think I've got anything like that I would never ever sell. To be fair. Not that I sell anything anyway, but I'm just saying I don't think I've got anything where I would never sell that in my life.
Yeah, I think the same here. It's mostly just like standard releases you can get anywhere now. So I would say probably just a Star Wars box set, and that's about it. What about you, AJ?
It's a really difficult question. It's a difficult question to answer.
Yeah, because some of the
I've got some titles where there's only like 500. Sorry?
You have a very impressive collection, like all the special editions you've showed up in your videos.
Yeah, like I've got some titles where there's only 500 made worldwide. But I don't know. If I was looking at a film that I wouldn't get rid of because I want to rewatch it, even though it's easily available, would be something like Jaws. The 4K version of Jaws with the lenticular cover, just because it's probably my favourite film of all time. Not for any sense of there's a value to it or there's no. But it's a really difficult question. I'd have to go through it for everything. Yeah. Hard question, that one.
Sophie asks, have any of us done any reading lately? No, not really. I haven't really read for quite a while. I do have quite a few books, but I don't really read them much. I do have quite a lot of like books based on films, like behind the scenes sort of stuff. But again,
are you sure it wasn't War and Peace?
Oh yes, I have been reading a bit of War and Peace. I know, yes, I have been reading that, but only a few pages.
There you go.
Mate.
Make love.
Oh, cool.
Star Wars.
Bruce Campbell way. Yeah.
Make love the Bruce Campbell way.
Oh, brilliant.
Not like what it sounds. It's a fake autobiographical story of Bruce Campbell trying to make a film called Let's Make Love. And it follows his exploits in trying to get this film made, but it's completely fictitious.
Nice.
Very funny
What
read.
about you, Andy? Do you read much?
Probably the only reading I do is the comments. Probably about it.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Ooh, kind of reading. I like to read graphic novels. So at the minute, I am reading Flashpoint.
Cool.
So brilliant so far.
I haven't really read many graphic novels yet. I'm a big fan of like all the superheroes, so I should really get into that.
Mate, there's too many comic books out there, man. Too many graphic novels, and there's loads of stories to read. And it's like, basically, I can easily like recommend some stuff like straight from the top of my head. I recommend. I think Batman's like probably like the most like perfect to start reading. So like I would suggest you read Batman Hush. That's amazing. I also recommend Long Halloween as well. Also recommend that. I recommend Old Man Logan, Marvel Zombies, and also I would also recommend Reading the Darkness as well.
Right.
You know what I do, Pete? What I do with graphic novels is just Google, find someone you want to read, Batman, Flash, whatever. Find someone you want to read. Google top 5 stories and find them and read. That's how I normally do it. And then if I'm interested in the character more or the stories, I'll keep going.
Oh, cool.
You know, the first Marvel Zombies series was actually written by Robert Kirkman, who's the creator of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I believe The Darkness, is that a Top Cow Image, Top Cow title?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. If you were going to go to read graphic novels, I'd go back a few years because the comic industry is in quite a state at the moment. Marvel's not very good. DC are falling behind at the moment. It's more sort of independent titles that would be the better choice.
Yeah.
But some of them, like Old Man Logan, is a good read. It sort of loosely, they sort of based the film Logan very loosely on it, in that making him an old man, but it is completely different. And it's more of a Mad Max style story. Mark Miller, I believe, wrote that.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So there's some really good graphic novels out there.
Yeah, but the best thing I'll recommend you is that if you don't want to play, absolutely amazing. I think I've got the premium edition, like hardback. I prefer hardback covers.
Nice.
Like it makes like it all nice and neat. But like the thing with paperbacks, it can actually like it's easy to like the crease and everything. So I recommend hardbacks.
Oh, that's a nice looking
Oh,
one.
That's actually on my table at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the graphic novel, and on the table as well. Marvel Zombies and the Army of Darkness.
Wow.
I got all the issues with this. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, there is a lot of good stuff. They're actually propping up the computer at the moment.
I also
I've read comics. I've actually read comics since the mid '80s. Evil Dead, yeah. You had. It was funny because you had the Evil Dead was being done by Dark Horse, but at the same time you had Army of Darkness being done by Dynamite, because the two properties are under different ownership. So one comic company bought the rights to Dark Horse, bought the rights to Evil Dead, while Dynamite had the rights to Army of Darkness. So you had two separate Evil Dead comics going that had no link to one another. Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's really interesting. Do you read many graphic novels, Andy?
In short, no. I'm just all about reading. But yeah.
No.
It's just something I'm interested in. Yeah.
I'll have to start researching up some, start getting some for the collection. Film Flicks here. Hey, fellas. Thanks for joining me. I watched Jungle Cruise yesterday and thought it was crap. What do you think of it? Haven't seen it yet. Trailers look like a lot of fun, but...
You know what I'd say about Jungle Cruise? It's one of them sort of rainy Sunday afternoon sort of...
That's what strikes it for me. It looks like it's a daft fun
I
film.
enjoyed it. I thought it was quite entertaining. Kept me entertained for 2 hours. It was harmless, inoffensive. I enjoyed it.
What about you, Ryan? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. Never really interested.
What about you, AJ?
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it when it first came out. It was. It reminded me of a film. Let's just put it that way. When I was watching it, it was like, I want to go and rewatch The Mummy, or I want to go and rewatch the first Pirates of the Caribbean film. It was too. It felt too heavily like them. It was.
Yeah, it seems to try to be a lot of other films.
Oh, it wasn't. Like it wasn't an inoffensive film. Like you said, it was. Just reminded me of better films. That was the problem with it.
Yeah,
Dwayne Johnson was good. His interactions with Emily Blunt, their on-screen charisma together. I mean, Dwayne Johnson's pretty good in anything he does. But, yeah, it was sort of like a throwaway film, maybe a one and done watch. Yeah.
What did you think of it, Andy?
Yeah, it was inoffensive, harmless fun. I think it was alright. I probably thought one of my favourite characters in it was probably Jack Whitehall. Probably thought he was like the most developed, if I'm honest. Kind of liked where it was going with that, but yeah, I thought it was just inoffensive. Like it was just fine. It was just fine for me. Is like the perfect way to describe that film.
I think they're doing a sequel, aren't they?
They are, yeah. I think one of the things I did notice with it is that there were scenes. There's a scene on the dock where Dwayne Johnson's throwing Emily Blunt's brother's stuff into the river. He wants to bring us, and it reminded me of. I was just thinking, isn't this something that Brendan Fraser would have done in The Mummy? I mean, it was that sort of a characteristic in the writing to Dwayne Johnson's character that I thought I've seen this. See, I don't know if that happens in The Mummy. I ain't seen them for a long, long time. It's the sort of thing that character would do. Rick O'Connell, isn't it? I think his name is in The Mummy.
Yeah, I think
it's the sort of thing that Rick O'Connell would do, So it was just reminded me of other stuff. Far superior stuff.
Matt says the sound quality is awful. Is it? Or is it all right? It doesn't seem to be much feedback, I don't think.
I can hear feedback.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Let me have a look.
It's not me because I'm on my laptop.
Right, let's just try that. Is there still feedback? Yes, I think there is.
I can hear that.
Is there still feedback now?
Probably me.
Right. Is there feedback now?
No.
No.
It's AJ.
It seems to be on your end, AJ.
Well, do you want me to try logging in with my coming off of this and going on my phone, seeing if that does any different?
Yeah, it'd be worth a try, I think. That'd probably be great. Thanks.
Right, let me give it a try. Let me sign out of this. Leave studio. Right.
Sorry about all these technical issues. Filmflick says he's just subbed. Thanks ever so much, mate. I'll sub back to you. Edward said, do you think that the new Bond movie, No Time to Die, will be as good as it is hyped up to be, or is it being overhyped too much?
I don't think it's been overhyped too much. I just think the fact that we've been waiting for it for so long. a lot of people go, it best be the best thing since sliced bread because of the wait we've had to do for it. But they've had it in the can ready for everybody here. So it's not as if they've had so long to try and change it or make it better. They've always, they've had it already done. I think it'll be better than Spectre. I enjoyed Spectre, but I think it'll be better than that. I think because they know it's Daniel Craig's last one that they will go all out with it.
Yeah. I think it's just because we've been waiting like 2 years for this film now. It was originally supposed to be coming out in November 2019, but because there was the fallout with Danny Boyle and the film got delayed, and then obviously COVID happened. But I do think it will live up to the hype. It's just that people, it could go either way. It'll either go really well or I'll be a victim of overhype. But I'm looking forward to it because it's Daniel Craig's final Bond. I wasn't overly keen on Spectre. I much preferred Skyfall, but I wasn't a fan of Quantum of Solace. No way. I wasn't a big fan of that one.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind Spectre. I think it got too much crap. Quantum of Solace. I enjoy Quantum of Solace, but it's the worst out of them.
Yeah,
I think
it's a solid action film, but it's not the best Bond film.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, I prefer Casino Royale because of Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, Casino Royale is like in the top 5 Bond films ever.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a very good film. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just like take it or leave it because Daniel Craig's not my favourite Bond by any means. He probably comes bottom of the list for me, if I'm honest. The only really one of his I like is Skyfall. Don't hate me about Casino Royale. I know it's a good film and I know it's great. I just can't gel with that film. I don't know why. It's just one of them with me. But Spectre to me was kind of like I enjoyed it the first time, and then the second time I watched it, I was like, this is not as good as I remember it at all. The ending to me is very, very loose, kind of falls flat on its arse a bit. For me, it's just really, really is choppy and it's not tight at all. Quantum of Solace, yeah, it's the worst one of the 4 we've got so far. But yeah, it's kind of like it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Star Trek, but in reverse. Like the odd ones are good and the even ones are bad. If that kind of makes sense. But I'm kind of hoping it follows suit, and it's a really good one. I want it to be good, but yeah, let's just wait and see what it's like.
We've seen so much from the trailers. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That there's enough there to surprise us. What about you, AJ?
To be honest, I've missed most of the marketing for the new one. I'm not really bothered with the trailers. I think I've seen one of them. I like the Bond films, but it's sort of like I just go and see them when they come out. I don't really. But yeah, I mean, Daniel Craig's not my favourite James Bond. Casino Royale was good. The second one, Quantum of Solace, I've not watched again. Skyfall was good, and I've only ever watched the next one after that. What was the one after that?
Spectre.
Yeah, I've only seen that once. Yeah. Yeah. My favourite James Bond was actually Timothy Dalton.
Same choice. License to Kill is my favourite Bond film ever.
Yeah, same.
Very underrated Bond.
He was doing then what thing he's doing now. Daniel Craig's doing now. Just audiences weren't ready for it at the time. Yeah, that sort of darker take to Bond. But no, License to Kill is fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant film. But I think like when this comes out in cinemas, it's got to make a lot of money to make it budget back, hasn't it? I'm sure I've read somewhere it's got to make like 700 million back. I don't know whether it'll make it or not. I kind of think it will because it's James Bond, but It'd be interesting to see. I don't know when they'll announce the new James Bond. Do you think they'll announce that in the end of No Time to Die or not?
No.
No. It'll be a couple of years, I think.
Joel says it's to do with Black Lives Matter. Karen was crazy. Haven't heard of it, but it sounds very interesting. Edward said, did you know that in the email IRU magazine there are top 10 Fast and Furious movies, that Fast 9 was at number 8 and at number 1 was Fast 5? Yeah.
Fast 5 was at number 1. I probably agree. Fast 9 was probably Fast 9 is the second worst film I've seen this year. Just in front of Space Jam. Fast 9 was I nearly walked out the cinema. I nearly walked out the cinema. I was like, this film's insulting my intelligence. I'm out. I'm done. It was.
I definitely agree with you. Yeah, I can remember Fast 9, Fast 5, and Fast 7 were really good, and 6 was pretty good as well. I think they were the 3 best films they done. I thought 8 was okay and all, but Fast 9 was terrible.
Like 7's the James Wan one, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think James Wan directed Fast 7. Is 5 the one when they're pulling all like the safes around the streets and that?
I think so.
If it is that one, that's probably my favourite one that I've enjoyed, to be fair.
What was I going to say? The only Fast and Furious film I haven't seen is Tokyo Drift, and I can't remember last time. What about you, Ryan? What is your favourite Fast and Furious films?
I would say number 7 because you just kind of beat it. Because I introduced Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw, and it brought like a new experience to the Fast and Furious. But I just have this thing in that every movie that they're bringing out now, they're just making it more stupid. So, but it's enjoyable stupid. That's the thing. So I'm just thinking that is it still right to make another Fast and Furious film? Like the one that we got just recently.
They're doing 2 more.
I think they were supposed to make about 10 like a 2-parter thing of it, which just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What about you, Andy? What's your favourite Fast and Furious film?
See, for me, it's a franchise that doesn't really appeal to me. I kind of think it's like maybe a good jump for you. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably the one I enjoyed the most was the Hobbs and Shaw film. They kind of just all sort of blend as one for me. It's just not a franchise I care about, unfortunately. But probably Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. What about you, AJ?
Again, I never really liked the Fast and Furious franchise when they first started. The street racing and all that sort of stuff, I've not really got any interest in. But when they became more stupid, I started to enjoy them more. When they just became over the top popcorn movies. But I'd have to echo the sentiments there that my most watched one would be Hobbs and Shaw. That'd be the one I'd go back to, probably because it's a self-contained story.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I thought Idris Elba was great in it.
Yeah.
And their chemistry together, Jason Statham and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson's fantastic.
Just worked really well.
Yeah. So that'd be my most watched. I'd probably say that one.
Cool. Video Tasty says, do you think there'll be another physical format after 4K? I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not.
No.
I don't think. I'm joking. I don't think 4K took off as well as they thought it was gonna.
No.
It's too expensive.
£25 a film is far too much. 15 quid.
I mean, like, you get the Blu-ray with it, so you get it twice. But I'm very hit. Like, I really pick and choose the 4Ks. It's normally films that I know I will watch over and over, like old classics, to sort of have them preserved in the best quality, sort of thing. But newer films, I think I commented on your stream last week. Me with 4K is like, if you put a 4K and a Blu-ray right next to each other, you'll see the difference. Yeah. If you don't, I don't think you can tell the difference. And I think Blu-ray is absolutely
I know, because I watched A Quiet Place Part 2 a couple of weeks ago on Blu-ray, and it looked crisp, clean, really good picture for a Blu-ray. And I honestly thought, how can 4K be better than that? But it's the price point that really does it. £25 is far too much, and the normal person on the street isn't going to pay £25 for a film.
Not for a film.
No, the other issue is that your younger people now, they're growing up in a world of streaming. You know, they're not going to go physical media. They're even my children. They, you know, when they see a Blu-ray, you know, I see it through their eyes, and it's like they're looking at something antiquated. You know, that's how they perceive it. So to have a 4K, no. I don't think.
What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's way too expensive for what it is. I don't think the naked eye could probably tell the difference. Your average person, average moviegoer, I don't think could tell the difference. And I don't always think it's the better option to Blu-ray sometimes, because I know I've seen reviews that has this horrible blue tinge to it, but I've heard that Batman Returns is one of the best ones. So it's kind of like you've got to do a bit of research into it.
I agree. I every time I buy 4K, I always really like looking reviews. And the best 4K that I own is Jaws. That looks phenomenal. Transfer to that is ridiculous. I generally thought I was in the water when I was watching that. I have got like a good TV, surround sound, whatnot. That was brilliant watching that in 4K.
Yeah.
So.
I think another thing with 4K is with the. Oh, what were you saying, Andy?
No, I was just saying it's just one of those, isn't it? You've got it. It all depends on the film itself. You know, because I've heard as well that the Terminator 2 4K is an absolute abomination. With the transfer, they've got a really, really poor job. But it's, as I said, it's just all depends on the film. You've just got to support the user out there and do your own work on it, unfortunately. But I just stick with Blu-ray just to avoid all that. But that's just me.
Another thing is with these 4K box sets, what they're releasing, like Indiana Jones and that recent Star Trek one you got, AJ. They seem to be very lazy with the packaging and all the sorts of
the packaging for that was awful.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Awful. And they're asking like 90 quid for it. I was like,
well,
I mean, to me,
the Star Trek ones went back, sort of.
Oh, that's good.
Smart move. Yeah.
Very good move. But for me, I think I class 4K as a premium sort of product, so they should go out the extra way to do something with that.
Like a boutique, isn't it?
You
know what I mean? Like, if you've got the money for it, go for it. But I honestly think people. I don't want to offend anyone who collects 4K, but I honestly feel like people do it just to say, "Oh, I've got it on 4K." It's not as if it's obsolete. Like for me, and again, this isn't offending people who collect DVDs. I can't watch DVDs anymore. Like the quality's too low for me. I've been spoiled a bit too much with Blu-ray. So when I watch a DVD or something in standard definition, I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that great. So the jump from DVD to Blu-ray to me was monumental. But the jump from Blu-ray to 4K, I can take or leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when the 4Ks are on offer, like some of the Marvel ones or the DC ones are on offer for like $9.99 when you buy something in H&B. Yeah, it's not too bad. But like 25 quid. No wonder.
No.
What do you think about 4K's Ryan? I think he's froze. I think he's froze. He's got technical issues.
He's asleep.
Yeah. Must have bored him. Oh man. Matt says, "What's your favourite horror film?" That's a good question.
Great choice.
Halloween, man.
Hmm.
Followed closely, very closely by Evil Dead, the original one. Like that.
Still haven't seen that yet, but I have got it.
The original Evil Dead.
Yeah, I've got the original Evil Dead, but I haven't seen it yet.
Great time, great time, that mate.
What about you, Andy?
Oh, I mean, let's be honest. We've been discussing this all night, couldn't we? I'm gonna go against the grain here and not choose one of the greats. One of my personal favourites. That's Fright Night. Well, I suppose it is great. It is great. Yeah. Perfectly cast film. Wonderful soundtrack. Great setting, and in my opinion, one of the best vampire films, if not the best vampire film I've made. It's fantastic, and I think it's incredibly underrated as well. The sequel's not bad either.
Andy, have you watched the Too Cool Brewster documentary on it?
No.
Have you got it on Blu-ray?
No, I've got the first two on DVD.
So if you get the Blu-ray for Fright Night, there's like a 2.5 hour documentary where they bring all the cast back and everything and sort of like talk about the impact of the film. Really good, really worth watching if you're a fan of the film.
I'll look out for that. But it's one of those films that I sort of saw for the first time late one night on like Channel 5, and then like a couple of kids we'd be talking about it like the next day. It's just one of them classic horror staples. I think it's brilliant.
What about you, AJ?
I'll be honest, I'm not overly big into horror. I mean, the Evil Deads, yeah, they're good. I love the Evil Deads and I love Bruce Campbell. But I would probably have to say, and this is so cliche, I'd probably have to go with First Nightmare on Elm Street, simply because of the age I was at the time when it came out. It did scare me at the time. I was young, but it tapped into all that stuff of when you go to sleep at night and all this sort of stuff. So as a child, it had a lot of impact. And Freddy Krueger almost became a sort of hero to people, didn't he? You know what I mean? He was such a great character in himself. I'd have to probably say Nightmare on Elm Street. But like I said, I don't watch a great deal of horror. I do have a selection of horror films. I do have the Halloweens, the Friday the 13th, those sort of films that I grew up with. Child's Play, those sort of franchises. But there's a wealth of horror film, and I haven't seen it because it's not really my cup of tea. But
I haven't seen many horror films myself. I've only just recently watched Halloween in the past week and a bit, and I did actually really enjoy it. It was great fun. Also, only recently just watched the first three Child's Play films. I think the second one's the best one. Yeah, it's so much more fun.
Of the what, sorry, the films?
Child's Play.
Yeah.
Child's Play too.
And I also like American Werewolf in London. That's another good one. That transformation scene is fantastic. So, yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Right, yeah. Freddy vs. Jason. For the win. Totally. One of the best, cheesiest films you're going to get over there.
Freddy vs. Jason was the first 18 film I ever went to cinema to watch.
I'm shocked now.
I think
they need to re-release this film at the cinema. So it'd be freaking good in Halloween.
Did you read the comic book of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are so hard to get hold of.
I know they are. They are.
Yeah.
I have got them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere. That was good.
Cool. Oh, comments gone all weird. Next up, we have what's your favourite sci-fi film? Cool. I'm not going to name a Star Wars film. That'll be too easy.
It's my favourite side.
Yeah.
I would say They Live for me.
Good one. I'm going to say Galaxy Quest. I really enjoyed that. That was such a fun film.
Can't get a sequel to that.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I'll get that. Not that one.
Cool. What about you, Andy?
Oh, I'm probably going to say Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 6. You can't. Yeah, Star Trek 6 blew me away after it was. I just didn't expect it to be as good as it was. And Star Trek 6 is probably one of the best villain hero chemistry dynamics. You know, we don't actually meet in the film. I just love those Star Trek films so much.
Cool. What about you, Paul?
Oh, Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
Or Aliens, if we want to go.
Yeah.
A bit more sci-fi.
What about you, AJ?
Yeah, I'd have gone with Andy. I was going to say Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Probably. You know, it's the best submarine movie ever made. Nicholas Mayer coming in to direct. It was just fantastic. The stuff about, you know, the story of them of aging, you know, the characters getting older. It's a really exciting film. It's just to take Star Trek from Star Trek 1, which is a very slow-paced movie, and then you've just taken it, made a militaristic. Yeah, it's a fantastic film. But I love sci-fi, and there's so much of it. It's a difficult question, really, because you have got Aliens. I would have gone with Aliens. There's so many. But Star Trek 2: Wrath of Khan is one that I revisit quite often.
Such a good film.
I haven't seen that one yet. I've only seen the first Star Trek film, and I wasn't overly keen on that one. But
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of people say Wrath of Khan is really good.
Yes, it's day and night. The difference between them two in style and in tone and in pacing, especially in pacing, the look of it, you know, the aesthetics within it. They changed up their uniforms. They look far better from Star Trek 2 onwards. The Star Trek uniforms have never looked as good as what they did in those later Star Trek films from 2 onwards. You know, even in Next Generation, and that's where Star Trek was at its strongest.
Yeah, because with that first film, they were trying to go for like a 2001 vibe, I think.
Right. Yeah.
With that first film, because it's, you know, much more slower and atmospheric sort of pace to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the second one, the story just kicks off and it's brilliant.
Yeah. That first one
it
was
is
very
like
philosophical. Very philosophical film.
Yeah.
And you know, they wanted to do Star Wars, didn't they? They went 2001. But then with the second one, is when they thought, let's put the action into it and give us the best submarine film ever put to screen. And the soundtrack by James Horner is fantastic in that film. The musical score for that film is spot on.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, well worth watching.
Right, another one to add to the watch list. Matt says, "What's your favourite action film?"
Easy. I'll have to go with Die Hard.
Yeah.
I'll take Die Hard. That just paved the way for so much. And it wasn't a film I was interested in. When it first came out in '88 and I heard it was a film set in a tower block, I was like, you know what I mean? Sort of small scope setting. And I was blown away by it. It's just, you know, Bruce Willis was an everyman. He wasn't an action hero as such. He wasn't one of these unstoppable Schwarzenegger, Stallone type characters. He was an everyman who got hurt, who had problems with his home life, and it's just a fantastic film. And there were so many copies, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Speed, Under Siege, Passenger 57, you know, Air Force One. It just paved the way for a couple of decades of film. That'd be my choice. Easy.
What about you, Paul?
Mine could be considered sci-fi as well, but I think more action. Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Yeah,
it's probably about the top 5 films of all time. It's one of them films that I've seen. You know, people say, "Oh, I've seen it 100 times." Like that's not an over-exaggeration. I've seen that film hundreds of times. It's a film I know inside out, upside down, word for word. If I was closed my eyes and I had it on, I could say exactly what's going on. I love it, and I actually got to watch it on the big screen about 3 years ago, back to back with the first one at our local cinema. Fantastic time at the cinema. I'm glad to see it on the big screen. Love it. Love Terminator.
That was an incredible experience.
Yeah, it really was. Our local cinema, like the last 3 years, have been really good for like putting a lot of films on that I've never got to see on the big screen. Like 89 Batman, The Terminator, Die Hard was one. A few others, the original Halloween, loads that me and friend did over the last couple of years. Films that we grew up with, we've just never seen on the big screen. But yeah, Terminator, my favourite.
What about you, Andy?
I'm going to go with probably a bit of a lesser known film, and John Woo's Hard Boiled.
Oh, lesser known.
I absolutely love the action in that film.
Yeah.
It's just non-stop. The hospital sequence at the end, it just doesn't stop for one single breath. It's mesmerizing. Absolutely wonderful action, just masterfully shot. Probably his best film.
If not for Hard Boiled, we wouldn't have John Wick, The Raid, any of them sort of films. Like Hard Boiled paved the way for all them.
Yeah, love Hard Boiled.
What about you, Ryan?
My favorite action film is John Carpenter as well, and that is Big Trouble in Little China. It's like it's one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah,
it's just mind-blowing.
It's a great mix of genres as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's like mixed with fantasy, martial arts, action. It's just mad. It's just mad, like how they actually got away with it.
For me, probably Commando, Rambo, the original Rambo, Last Action Hero. Watched that recently. Absolutely loved that. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Next up, we have Arthur Berlin. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Who is your favourite fictional villain that redeemed themselves? That's a good question, Arthur.
My boy, Darth Vader.
Yeah. That's a good question.
It's a difficult question.
May debut to a kill.
Yeah.
That is a hard question.
I'm probably going to just say Darth Vader myself. I don't know whether you could say Loki as well. I suppose. I don't know. What about you, Ryan?
That is a hard question. That is
it's not a question you normally get.
Yeah, exactly. It is a hard question. I don't know really. That is a hard question.
It's not unless you've got a list of actual villains that redeem themselves. Yeah. I'm thinking. What about you, AJ?
I don't know. Negan from The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout, actually.
Yeah, because he done such atrocities, and then when he went when they were in that storm and he went in to save the girl, he saved the young girl in a blizzard. Yeah, I've got that. I got it still boxed.
He's on my shirt tonight.
Cool.
Negan went on a redemption arc, I suppose. But I'm thinking of people who sort of become anti-heroes. You know what I mean? Like because I'm thinking from a comic book perspective. So Venom would be one. Venom wasn't a villain and then became an anti-hero. But no, I'd go with Negan. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good choice. It's a very hard question, but thanks, Arthur, for it. Edward says he was talking about the Empire magazine. I've never actually read Empire magazine.
I used to have stacks of them. Went in the bin.
Empire, Total Film, SFX.
Yeah.
You don't buy magazines anymore, do you, really? You get on news on the internet. Yeah, it's all old news.
Magpie Movies here, evening gents. Thanks for joining, Paul. Matt V Movie says HDR and the sound quality on 4K is the main difference. They deliberately put DTSX and Dolby Atmos on the 4K disc, but they are on Blu-ray discs with Atmos just to be selected. Yeah, I know some films are on Atmos.
Quiet Place 2's got Dolby Atmos. You were talking about before.
Yeah, I think most Warner Brothers films have Atmos on as well.
Yeah, because I rewatched the Quiet Place 2 because I bought it on Blu-ray a couple of weeks ago. I just got round to watching it. Not last night, the night before. That sounded horrific on the surround sound system. HDR, yeah, HDR can work for some films. That is like the selling point of 4K. But again, it's like that is the difference, but I don't think it's a major difference. It doesn't like make the Blu-ray like obsolete, like, oh, I can't go back to that now, sort of thing.
I don't think it's worth the jump in price.
It is on some. I'd say it is on some. I mean, I've gone 4K. I went 4K at the beginning of the pandemic. I was locked indoors. I bought a new TV, new 75-inch, and a 4K player. And I'd always said I weren't going to go 4K, but I stepped into it. One of the first films I got was Aquaman. And the difference in colour and that is you do notice it, and sound. And one film that just blows me away in 4K and with the sound is Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, you took the words out of my mouth.
It's just fantastic.
I was about to say Blade Runner 2049 is another good one.
Yeah.
I remember one film I saw on Carrie's playing on 4K, and that was Gemini Man. And that was running at 60 FPS, and I thought that was a good transfer. But I don't think many 4Ks do 60 FPS, do they? I think that's the only one.
I don't know.
I've got to check.
Comments all gone weird. Magpie Movie says, Dune 4K for me tonight. Then going to finish off watching Scorpion's Revenge later on. So happy The Thing is on the way.
I got my dispatch email literally just before this live stream from Zabby for The Thing 4K. I'm looking forward to seeing that in 4K.
Yeah. There's some really nice additions to that and some good steelbooks. I know people that have bought every single edition because they're very excited.
He's bought every single one. It's his favourite film. He's bought every single version of it. I just bought the collector's one with like poster and stuff.
Yeah.
Look forward to checking it out 4K.
I've never seen the original Dune. Has anybody seen that?
A long time ago.
I was really young, and I was really ill. And I was home from school, and I was laid out on the sofa, and I was so sick. And my dad had it on TV. He was watching it, and I don't know if it was a pirate copy or anything. You know, it may have been back in them days. I don't know. And so whenever the film Dune is mentioned, it takes me back to how ill I was. So it's not a film that I can watch for that reason.
Yeah. I've seen Scorpion's Revenge, the Mortal Kombat animated film. That's really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I did watch the sequel, Battle of the Realms. That was all right, but I tried to fit too much into such a short film.
Yeah. There was like 4 different storylines going on, like 70 minutes long.
It should have split that up between like 3 or 4 films. There was far too much there to fit into 80 minutes. Rob's here. Hi, Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
James is here. Hi, James.
Hi, James.
Hi, James.
James says, have I missed the quiz? James, we forgot to do a quiz.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He also says, great lineup for tonight. Yep. Thanks ever so much. No quiz tonight, but please got to do the questions, yes. Or to quiz, yeah.
I bought a brand new notepad for it.
Do you want to jump on, James, and do the quiz? Because I'm sure you've got some questions you could do. Edward says, what's your thought on the movie Cop Out with Bruce Willis?
Not
I've seen it.
Paul's face says it all.
I've seen it, but it's forgettable. I've not. I saw it when it came out. I can't remember nothing about it whatsoever.
I'll tell you what's better than the film. I'll tell you what's better than the film Cop Out. Go listen YouTube Kevin Smith Cop Out and listen to him talk about working with Bruce Willis. One of the funniest stories I've ever heard in my life.
I've heard stories. I'll have to check that one out. I didn't get on, did they?
Did they die off?
What? Have you seen it? Oh, sorry. Sorry. What are you saying, Andy?
No, they were in Die Hard 4 together, weren't they?
Yeah. Kevin Smith's like into the camera in Disney. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen it, Ryan, or not?
What? What are you talking about? No, I haven't seen it yet. I was going to go say it, but I was like, no, really caught me eye. I think I'm probably end up going to see that new James Wan movie. I think it was Malignant, whatever the hell it is.
Right.
So I'll probably be going off to see that tomorrow while I pick up Halloween.
Cool. James says, what's your favourite 70s film?
Alien.
That's a good choice.
I've got all these factors.
Yeah, I have to say Jaws because I said that was like one of my favourite films. So I'll go with Jaws, didn't I?
I'm going to say the original Dirty Harry for me. I really love that film.
For me, I'm just confused who's asking who.
What are you saying, Ryan? What's your favourite 70s film?
I would say this is bloody hard now. It's oh man, it's hard. I would say Every Which Way But Loose.
Yeah, that's good film.
I'm going to chuck an honourable mention of The Exorcist in as well.
Yeah.
Probably The Exorcist.
Never seen The Exorcist.
Put it on your list.
Yeah, there's going to be a book by the end of the stream.
Even on a lockdown.
Yeah.
Oh, Pete, you're going to have a massive list. You're going to be having a massive shop next year with what we got in Norwich.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, getting out of those films.
Mm.
HMV.
What about you, Andy?
It's going to be the first Star Wars for me.
Oh, I changed it. If the answer's Star Wars.
Good one. James says, "What's your favourite cartoon character?"
Ooh.
I'm going to cheat a little bit because he's a game character, he's a film character. Batman, because Batman the animated series is my favourite animated series of the time.
Yeah.
That's cheating a bit.
That is a good question, James.
Probably for me, I'm going to say Samurai Jack.
Yeah, good pick.
I'm loving that.
I also love Goku.
Yeah, the Joker. Mark Hamill as the Joker. Fantastic. For me. What about you, AJ?
I've got my one here. Look.
Daffy Duck.
Hey, Daffy Duck's made an appearance.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
Oh,
Daffy Duck. I've got to go with Daffy Duck. I'll go with
good pick.
or Wile E. Coyote. Yeah. Daffy Duck's just the embodiment of chaos, and the Wile E. Coyote cartoons will just make me laugh because I see it coming. You see it coming before it's going to happen, and I can't help but laugh before it happens. You know, yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Paul. BTS is my favourite TV show.
Yeah. Jules says she's never heard of Hardball.
You'll be in for a treat, Jules. It's a great action film.
Another one I haven't seen that's going to go on the list.
It's free on YouTube.
Oh, is it?
The whole film, the whole film, you just search on YouTube. It's there. I think.
Yeah,
it's a great
film. Jill says, anyone likes Charlie? Is she talking about Charlie Theron?
I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so,
yeah, she's a pretty good actress.
Yeah.
I thought she was good in Mad Max, Fury Road, and Atomic Blonde. I didn't mind her in that. What about you guys?
Yeah, Fury Road. I actually watched the film the other day. Show. The film is okay. It's too comfortable. She was awesome in it.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, my favourite film of theirs is probably Monster. I think that's such a great film. One of the best performances I think she's ever given.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Good choice. What about you, AJ?
Yeah, I think she's a very capable actress. She's chameleonic. She can pretty much do anything that's thrown at her. And she's not bad to the eye either, is she? Now she's she's very good.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
I'm going to say her as Ferosa in Mad Max Fury Road. So I thought she's played an amazing role in that one. And the best thing was it's basically setting up Ferosa's story because we already know Max's story now. So it's going to introduce like a whole more introduction into his story. So I'm looking forward if we're going to continue with our story.
Good choice. James says, nice t-shirt, AJ.
Thank you.
Keith's here from Euphoria Pictures. Hello to all. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for joining, Keith. Yeah, I'm doing quite well.
We've already gushed over your collection tonight.
Yeah.
I'll send you some quiz questions, Pete. Dudley's too tight. Thanks, Jules. James says, have any of you watched Terrorhawks? Currently watching it from the beginning. Is that,
I've heard of it. I've heard
Gary
of it.
Anderson stuff?
Yeah.
I remember when it was on. I remember Terrorhawks watching it as a child. That's when you got the cubes and the circle things at the end, like moving round, if I recall. Sort of like noughts and crosses type thing. Or am I thinking of something else? Yeah, I think that was that, but I don't remember much about it.
Has anybody else seen it or heard of Terrorhawks before?
I've just Googled it. It's done by the same person who did like Thunderbirds and Captain
Jerry
Thomas.
Anderson.
Yeah.
I think the box sets of Terrorhawks.
That sort of style.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I think the box set went down real cheap on Amazon, and I think that's how James got it. Matt says, which film would you like to be remade or get a sequel that was never produced?
Alien 5 that Neil Blomkamp was going to do. I absolutely nearly cried when I found out that got cancelled. All the ideas and all the concept art got released, and it looked like he knew he was going to give us a good Aliens film. Finally, another good one, and it got cancelled. So that's
yeah.
Dread 2.
Dread 2, yeah. That's a good choice. What about you, Andy?
There's probably two for me. Spider-Man 4. And don't hate me for this one, but the third Joel Schumacher Batman film, which he's going to try and do without toy companies being involved. He wanted to make like a true proper Batman film. I think it was called Batman Triumphant or something like that. Jack Nicholson was meant to come back as well. But yeah, we just never got to see that. Shame. So,
what about you, Ryan?
What would you like to, a remake to or a sequel that have been produced? I don't know really.
No.
Didn't know about a remake or anything.
For me, I'd like to see a sequel to the 2011 Tintin film, like the CGI animated one. I thought that was a really good film and quite underrated.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, with the really good pedigree behind it, a sequel would be a good idea. But we never saw one.
No, that was an enjoyable film.
Mark, please, is here and he says the future is free. Your average person don't buy discs anymore. DVDs or Blu-rays, never mind 4Ks, too expensive. Same with music, streaming and CDs. But what about vinyl is back?
Yeah, there'll always be a niche market for it, I think. And that's the way it will go. The way I see it will go. You'll see less and less titles released. I mean, you're seeing that now through streaming services. These streaming services keeping their IP in-house and not releasing them to physical media because they want to drive you to their streaming site. I think there'll always be a niche market like with vinyl. But the majority of people aren't buying vinyl either, the youngsters. You know, it is a niche thing.
Yeah, it's like all us in the film community, we're all going to keep buying physical media as long as we can. But my girlfriend, my mum, couldn't tell you the last time they bought a film on. You know what I mean? Just wait for it to come on TV and that. So, but I agree with AJ. It'll go like vinyl. That we'll walk into a store. You see it now in Tesco's and supermarkets. Like the selection there is fucking terrible. Say like 5 years ago. I think it's going to go sort of like down the boutique route eventually. I think we're going to get that quicker than a lot of us think as well. I think that will be in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I could very well believe that. It's the same thing with It's the same thing with like video games and all like physical versions of that. That's slowly dying down now with like PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox having discless consoles.
Yeah.
And I do think the next generation probably will get rid of them completely. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Just like what AJ was saying, it's becoming more and more niche of a market, unfortunately. We're seeing less and less being released. It pisses me off when I have to watch a film on Netflix and I'm like, when is it going to get a physical release? I'm dying for that kind of the Chicago 7 to get a Blu-ray release because I absolutely love that film. I want it myself. If you know what I mean, because I love that feeling of coming out to cinema and you say to yourself, I want that film on my shelf, like I want it now on my shelf. But because of the way things are going, you know, we've seen the death of blockbusters and things like that. Thank God HMV hasn't gone that way so far. Yeah, it's a shame. It really is a shame. But,
I think the pandemic has really forced it through, like literally gone through like 10 years and because of all the pandemic with the streaming and that. But hopefully with like films now going primarily at cinemas, it probably will kind of not hurt physical releases so much now, hopefully. I don't know. What about you, Ryan?
See with me, I prefer physical media because due to like if you with streaming sites, you don't know if that particular movie is going to stay on that site for a long time. Well, it's not because Netflix is always taking things on and off again. So that's why I prefer to buy physical media because I know that anytime if I want to watch that film, I can watch that film. Right? And this is why I actually hate streaming services, even though I still use them because it is an easier source. It's like if I wanted like just to watch the film thing on my phone before buying it, that's what I would do. But I'll always go back to physical media because it's just more easier to handle.
Yeah. Another thing is with streaming, no internet, you can't watch nothing.
No.
That's the thing. If you live in an area with bad internet, you won't be able to watch nothing because it'll be buffering all the time. That's why you can't beat this. James says, who would play you in a film of your life? Well, I know somebody, two of them, Adam Driver or Tom Hiddleston. It's an easy choice for me. So yeah. What about you guys?
I'd probably say Sylvester Stallone. A lot of people have told me I look like him. No, I'm joking. No idea. You know what? I'm a sort of person. No one's ever told me I look like someone. I don't really have a celebrity look-alike or anything, so it's a hard one to answer that. Maybe you look like Adam Driver.
Yeah. Oh, what about you, Andy?
I have absolutely no idea. I couldn't muster up a guess. Really couldn't.
AJ?
Nicolas Cage, he's got a lot of range, just like me. I don't know.
No. What about you, Ryan?
I totally don't even know who would like playing me seriously. It's just impossible. It's impossible to play someone like me. That's the thing.
One of a kind.
Yeah, one of a kind. Yeah. James says, what's your best ever charity shop bargain? Well, for me, nothing, because my charity shops are really overpriced. What about you guys?
I don't really go to charity shops, film collecting. I know you guys do it. You always put it on your videos and that. I normally just order off Amazon or HMV. Or Zavi, them I go to. I don't really go out of my way to try and find things in shops and that. Yeah, I haven't really got one. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't really tend to, I just pop into charity shops just to have a look to see if there's anything, but I don't purposely go to hunt around all the charity shops.
Yeah.
I'd rather just buy them from a proper shop or online. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, so I don't really pop into them. I only really go to, like, HMV, really, and I might have a look into CX. It's only because whenever I go out, I'm only going out because I specifically am looking for one film or two films, and you're not really going to get that in a charity shop or CX. So I don't really pop into them.
Cool. What about you, AJ?
Right, I'm going back a long time now. Right, but years ago, I walked past a charity shop in Coulsdon, which is in Surrey, and they had, I think it was season 4 of 24 for £4 at the time, and I bought it and then resold it on eBay for 20.
Good.
No,
Yeah, that's what comes to mind.
Oh, that being said, I did actually buy an Xbox 360 version of Toy Story 3 still sealed, bought it for £1 and sold it for 50.
Yeah, nice.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan? What about you?
Well, I did find a copy of Red Dwarf, which I literally got 20 quid off. It was on DVD. I think it was like when it was like brand new, like really expensive. So I literally got like 20 quid from like CX bang on the dot, and I was like, that was me happy.
Well, smoke me a kipper.
I spent it straight away, no?
Yeah.
Love it. Red Dwarf.
Yeah,
Oh, Red Dwarf.
I was just about to say that they've never done a Blu-ray release of Red Dwarf. You know, we get it on Blu-ray.
Jill says, if you could bring back one actor that has died, who would it be and which film?
Okay, I'd bring back, I don't know which film, but Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, very good choice. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic in everything.
Yeah. Very good choice. Good question. What about you, Andy?
For me, well, it's hard to top Robin Williams. But
Yeah, that's a good one.
But for me, an actor we never really got to see the best of, River Phoenix.
Yes.
Love his stuff, man. Love his stuff. Some underrated films he was in.
I'm going to use Ryan's back photograph as inspiration and say Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the kitchen and the Swartman's Marilyn Monroe is finally short battle.
Yeah. What about you, Paul?
Probably, the only one that's coming to my head is Carrie Fisher. That hit me quite hard, that death, because I love Star Wars. And it was at a time when Star Wars was revitalising. She never got to do the final film. I would have loved to. She shot a few scenes for it, or new scenes from another film for Rise of Skywalker, but I would love to have seen her in the final film. But nothing nice. It probably won't be the final one. But
that was really awkward. That those scenes with her in Rise of Skywalker just didn't work.
No, you could tell.
It feels so forced with the what he's saying to what she's saying. It just feels like, it's just don't sit right. That. The Thingy would make a good young. What's the name from Strange Things?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, she'd make a good young. If they ever wanted to cast a young Princess Leia, she'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Sorry, that's gone off on a tangent.
James is back with a very interesting question. If you were a fly on a wall, what film set would you most like to have been on a wall of? That's an interesting one.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yeah.
What scenes? I would say it's got to be the latest Mission Impossible when Tom Cruise is kicking off about face masks, or what's his face when Batman was kicking off.
Oh yeah, Terminator.
Down guy.
Yeah. For me, I'd probably say like probably the new Bond film. That would have been quite cool. No Time to Die, probably. What about you, Ryan?
I'll probably would like to be on the set of If I Was a Fly.
You ain't going to say 50 Shades. You're not going to say 50 Shades.
Oh, shut up. Fucking 50 Shades of shit. Why is fucking called 50 Shades? No, I would love to be more. If I was a fly, I would have loved being on the most of them. Multiverse, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because I'm a big fan of Sam Raimi's work because of the EOP and stuff.
Really good choice.
And just to see him like doing his his directing style esque of how he does his horror movies. It brings like a new taste like to like the superhero genre, which I'm looking forward to seeing, and which I am hoping that Bruce Campbell is going to be Mysterio in the new upcoming Doctor Strange, because I think he was Mysterio without the original Spider-Man trilogy, because I always had that speculation how he keeps popping up all the time. I think he was going to like basically. I think in the original Spider-Man, I think he was going to play Mysterio, but he hasn't got asked. Well, that's what I'm hoping.
I've got a good choice. The Shining. That would have been a good one to have been a fly on the wall of. Yeah. What about you, Paul?
Basic Instinct. Drawn up Digest Instinct.
Mark Lee says Disney are releasing current cinema films with streaming at the same time. Yes, they are, with like Disney Plus, where you have to pay like 20 quid extra to watch it. I do think that's very expensive. I mean, if you've got a big family, then yes, it's probably not too bad if you all want to go to the cinema. But if you're on your own, that's a lot of money to fork out. You might as well just wait until the film comes out.
That's all ended now, though, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. With Shang-Chi and what that's making at the moment, they're pleased with it. So you'll see. So there you go. Yeah.
They've just announced that Halloween Kills is going to streaming service the day it comes out on Peacock in America, which apparently we're getting. But I think it's like later on or the start of next year. Peacock in the UK. Whatever it is.
Seriously, mate, I'll probably end up acquiring it anyway. It's gonna get leaked online anyway, so
yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
I think with like the streaming thing now, that has harmed cinemas like releasing like new films, because a lot of people can find it online illegally.
As soon as you hear it's going on HBO Max, everyone's thinking that means I can just get it for free because you can just find it online.
Absolutely.
It does damage the box office tokens. James is here again, and he says, "Who's your favourite Disney villain?" I'm going to say Jafar from Aladdin.
I'll probably go with Scar from the Lion King.
Yes, that's a good one.
It's made it so hard now.
No, I was going to say Scar.
Yeah.
Think of another one there.
I do like Hugs a lot from Toy Story 3. That's Pixar, but it's still Disney.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
So in that case, does Thanos count?
Oh, it makes it so hard.
Predator, Alien. They own so much now.
Yeah.
But no, say Star.
Hmm.
I'm going to say Frollo from Hunchback.
Good choice.
Great motivation.
What about you, Ryan?
I haven't got a clue. It's even me. I'm not a big fan of Disney films. I never really got my interest. But even though I probably will watch, I love Pixar. Pixar's my favorite. That's what I prefer. But I fell out of love with Disney because with all these remakes and everything, I just felt like it just went too far in my way. Even though I still need to watch Cruella, which that looks really good.
Oh, that is a brilliant film.
But I just went off Disney because I think they're buying too many companies. Because they've got Lucasfilm, they've got Marvel Studios, now look, they own Fox. I just don't know what they're going to buy next. It'll be Universal. What's next? They'll probably buy Universal next.
They own far too much, definitely. Yeah.
Exactly.
They own half my paycheck every month as well.
I think it's now that Amazon's trying to get into the game, trying to own everything now. They own MGM, so basically next they could easily, if they can, because the multi-millionaires, they could easily try and buy Warner Brothers or something like that, because they could easily do something like that. And if they do, will they buy DC? Will they buy DC films, or will Disney buy DC films? That's the thing. But the thing is, if Disney buys DC films, they're going to basically include that every film's going to be a 12A. But no, I like what DC's doing because it's meant to be more darker. That's what DC was supposed to give us. Because Marvel is more on the lighter side, which is best for kids. But in Disney in a way, because what I've been hearing that they want to make a DC and Marvel crossover. Would Disney actually buy the rights for DC? That's the thing.
Yeah. James is here again, and he says, "Have you all seen Never-Ending Story?" Now I know he hasn't. No, I saw it.
Yes, I have seen the Never-Ending Story. It's an enjoyable movie. It's a really lovely film.
I've seen it when I was a kid. Admittedly, it's not a film, a film from my childhood that stuck with me, but I have seen it. I do enjoy it. I've just not seen it in a very long time.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I've seen all three of them.
Yeah. AJ?
Yeah, about 30 or 35 years ago. Can't remember it. Yeah, no, it was a film that I saw a couple of times as a kid, but I've got no real memories of it or anything.
Matt's back, and he's got another question. What was the first film that you bought that got you into collecting? That is a good question.
The first film that I ever bought with my own money was Terminator 2 on DVD special edition. It came in like a tin case.
Oh, yeah.
In sort of steelbook, not before steelbooks. That's the first film that I can remember buying with my own money, not bought for me. But I still remember buying it. I got it from Dixon's when they were still knocking around, so that's how I remember that.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to say I think it was Star Wars Revenge of the Sith on DVD, but I think I got it from Woolworths back in the day. That was the first one I ever bought. Yeah.
Oh, I think Woolworths should make a comeback. I miss Woolworths.
I used to work in Woolworths.
Oh, Woolworths was amazing.
Oh, man.
I used to work in the toy department.
Oh.
And then I quit because I realised that I didn't like kids. Coming in, playing with the lightsabers and not making the right mess.
I can't remember.
No? You can't remember? What about you, Andy?
The first film I remember buying on VHS from Woolworths was First Ace Ventura.
Good pick.
Yeah.
What about you, AJ?
I can't tell you the very first one I bought, but my earliest memories of getting a VHS was the pilot episode for Dempsey and Makepeace.
Dempsey Makepeace, wow.
Yeah, and then maybe Transformers the movie, the animated one back in the day. But Dempsey and Makepeace would have been before that. That's one of my earliest memories.
Cool.
And that was Woolworths, and I remember getting it in Woolworths in Peckham Rye, South London.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Matt says, what's your favourite TV series? Well, mine straight away is Doctor Who. Loved it since the revival in 2005. Not too keen on it now since Jodie Whittaker's era, but hopefully when we get a new Doctor, it will change.
I bloody hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard we might actually have two showrunners on the show.
Well,
What about you?
J. Michael Straczynski said he was interested, didn't he?
Yeah, I think
Babylon
so.
5.
Yeah,
Babylon 5
I would have loved
movie.
to see that.
Yeah.
And he was a writer on Spider-Man for a while as well.
We just need a new writer who can actually write in Doctor Who.
I think we need someone that's actually really good at writing sci-fi, in my opinion. That's what we need. Like, bring the feel of Doctor Who back and bring the mystery of Doctor Who back. Because they took the mystery. That was the thing. It's not meant, the mystery of the Doctor was never meant to be reveals. It shouldn't have been reveals. That's the thing. And then Chibnall came along and fucked it all. The Timeless Child, which basically is being wiped out of my mind.
So what's your favourite TV series, Paul?
The Walking Dead's my favourite show at the moment. I've been watching it since literally the very first episode aired. I still remember I think it was on Channel 5. The very first episode.
I watching it on there.
Maybe. I love zombie stuff anyway. Love the zombie genre. I love Resident Evil games and all that. So it was literally, I felt like at the time it was a show made for me. I was like, oh, this is going to. Quite funny though, I remember still saying to my mate who I lived with at the time, I don't think the show's going to do well because I don't think it's for everyone. 11 seasons later, we're still going. Well, we're on the final season now, but you know, it's a show that's had its ups and downs. A lot of people say like, I checked out a bit, I dipped off, whatnot. I can't tell you any long-running show that hasn't had a bad season, not one. Even the X-Files is one of the best shows of all time. That had good seasons in it. You know what I mean? Doctor Who, as long as Doctor Who been going, that's had good seasons. Doesn't mean it's a rubbish show, but people seem to think that because it dipped a little bit in quality, that it went rubbish. But I thought stupid because they picked it straight back up again.
Yeah. Have you read the comic books?
Yeah, I've got them all down there.
Same.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, Batman the animated series for me. Love it. Still holds up even to this
Great
day.
pick.
It's like I've got an absolute ton of figures from it, vehicles and stuff, and it's better than the most movies in my opinion. Live action stuff, even the new animated stuff, tweak the animation a little bit. That final series, some of the stories in that, like Mad Love, is one of the best Paul Dini stories and episodes I've ever seen. Just it's fantastic. I absolutely love it to death.
And obviously that's where we got Harley Quinn from.
Yeah, Joker's first ever appearance. Yeah.
What about you, AJ? What's your favourite TV series?
I've seen so many. One of the ones that series. See, I'm going on what I can revisit a lot, and I'd have to say the American Office. Can revisit that all the time. I like the British Office, and after the first season of the American Office, they just made it its own thing, and it was fantastic. It was brilliant. But you know, I've been watching TV for years. I've got so many DVDs and Blu-rays of TV stuff. It's unreal. There are highlights, but comedies are easy to always go back to.
Yeah.
It's easy watching.
And you, Ryan?
Well, Doctor Who was my favourite TV show, but even though I somehow but I'm going to say my favourite series would be I'm starting to think now. Oh, this is a hard one. My actually like now my favorite series is actually it's DC and it's actually called Doom Patrol, and it's actually like brought this was actually the return of Brendan Fraser as well, which like it's about I only started watching because Brendan Fraser was in it, and I'll tell you something, he plays an amazing role in that. It's spot on. It's funny. The storytelling is bizarre, but it's absolutely amazing. And it brings like the darkness back as well, like of like what DC is supposed to be, and it's like one of the best TV shows that I've seen so far.
Mark Lee says CEX tells us they sell tons more DVDs and Blu-rays or 4Ks. DVD came out in 1996, over 25 years ago, and the format is still around. Current films like Black Widow are on it, and will sell more than Blu-ray. Yeah, you're right. And a lot of films are still stuck on Blu-ray, DVD, that haven't seen a Blu-ray release.
Yeah, DVD does outsell Blu-ray. That's basically down to price, because your average person that buys physical media doesn't really care about Blu-ray quality, or they probably don't even understand it. They just go for price, and you get far more released on DVD as well.
Definitely.
And
it's the price point that sells it for people.
Yeah, and in CEX, the prices of DVDs are like 50p, 10p. Do you know what I mean? Silly prices, aren't they?
It is. Jill says, I loved River Phoenix. Wonderful actor. Yeah.
Such a shame.
Actor who overacts too much.
It's got to be Nicolas Cage, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Say Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Still love it, though.
In a good way, though.
Yeah, in a good, love it, though. Would change Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Hey.
AJ Movies here. Hello, Pete. How are you guys? Thanks, mate, for joining.
I'm good.
Scotty Movies is here. Hi, guys. Hi, Scotty.
Thanks for joining.
Question for AJ. Did you consider getting the Plutonian box set of Back to the Future as well as your Time Circuit set?
I did at the time. When they released Back to the Future on 4K, you had the standard release, 4K release box set, which I went for in the end. You had the Plutonian box set, you had the steelbooks on their own, then you had the steelbook set that I've subsequently got recently. And I had several of them pre-ordered, not knowing what I was going to go for. And the fact that there was so many of them made me say, sod this, I'm just going for the standard one. But then recently I did manage to get the, the one that looks like it's in the time box with the dates on it. Just solely for all the stuff that was in it. I love the content that was in it. The reflective, the lenticular pictures and that. I went for that in the end and sold off the other one, the 4K box set. But I did consider the Plutonian one. It did look nice, but I think there was more in the other box set than in the Plutonian one. Thanks for the question.
I did see you unboxing for it, and it is a really nice set.
Yeah, there was time and effort put into them, and you felt it, unlike the Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a lot of love in that box set. There was a lot of, do you know what I mean? A lot of
making it.
Yeah, it was. That's what you want. That's the sort of stuff you want as a collector. that sort of a choice where they do put time and effort into it and think about it. There's those even just them pictures that flash like like what happens in the movie where the characters are disappearing in the photo. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Thanks for the question.
AK Movie says Pixar is doing good work, making good films every year. They seem to be popping out titles a lot just recently. I think they got another one coming out next year, haven't they?
I actually said to someone yesterday that I think with Pixar that plus the churning out one every year, the magic of it seems to have diminished a bit. Do you remember back in the day where a new Pixar film be announced and it'd be like a big event, like in Toy Story 2 or Monsters Inc. or whatnot? Now they're just one's coming out. There's Luca that's come out. It would come out of nowhere. They seem to be churning them out a bit too much. They're still good. The quality's still good, but I don't feel. I remember when they first come around and you felt like a brand new sort of an event film when they come out and everyone would go and watch it. Don't think they have that anymore, even though they are still producing good movies.
Because they seem to put like Luca on Disney Plus straight away, didn't they? That didn't get cinematic release, did it?
Don't think so.
When Pixar first came about, they hit the ground running, didn't they?
Yeah.
And their stuff was quality. But I think now they have become more Disney-fied. Do you know what I mean? They feel more like Disney, as in the amount that they're kicking out. So you're right, the magic has been lost in that sense. Although Disney always puts out quality, when Disney film comes out, you always know that that money's going to be on the screen. It's going to look great. It's going to all this stuff. Whether you like it or not, it's still a quality product. They put the money into it, whether it's a decent film or not. It's still quality. The quality's there. But yeah, too many of them for that to feel like anything.
Because last year, didn't we get Onward and Soul, didn't we, I think?
Yeah.
That's quite surprising, because normally it's like one every 2 or 3 years for Pixar. Yeah. AK also says, guys, what's your favourite film character and your least character you don't like? So your favourite and your least favourite film character. It's a good question.
My favourite film character. Well, my least favourite film character, I can literally say straight away, is Rey from the Star Wars sequel trilogy. I just think she was just a pointless character to be a Jedi. And then I think for my favourite film character, I'm going to say Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. I just felt like his his Brutus and his I would say his personality was spot on, and then Kurt Russell just literally pulled it off, and that's what I like about Escape from New York. I just think he's just a top-notch badass. That's what he is. That's one of my favorite characters.
Cool. What about you, AJ?
Favourite film character of all time would probably be Ash from Evil Dead: Army Darkness. In the later, as he is in the later films, he's always a pleasure. Least favourite? That's a difficult question. One that really bugs me is Val Kilmer as Batman.
Wow.
Not for me. I would even go so far as to say that I would put Batman and Robin in a listing above Batman Forever. That's how much I dislike Batman Forever. And that was the film that started the nipples. Not Batman But a difficult question for least favourite.
Yeah, it is a difficult question.
I'm trying to think of someone who's been gender swapped in a main role or something. That would bug me. if it's unnecessary.
What about you, Paul?
Favorite film character will be Luke Skywalker. Easy. Or Arnie in Terminator 2. Least character, the one that comes to mind is just the character I despise in the movie. But the actor who plays it does it so well that you hate the person is Percy from the Green Mile. You know, the little snivelly one, an absolute arsehole in the film. But the guy who plays it does it so well that you literally want to punch him. You know what I mean? So the guy playing him does an incredible acting job playing this horrible guy. But every time I rewatch The Green Mile, I cannot stand that character in the film.
What about you, Andy?
Probably one of my favourite movie characters is probably Henry Fonda in 12 Angry Men. Just because of the way he gets his point across this entire room, initially disagrees with him completely, and how the story arc of the whole film, everyone's sort of on the same page with him. And my least favourite character is, I'm probably just going to say his name and then let's move on. Jar Binks. Yeah.
For me, I'll probably say my favourite is probably Indiana Jones. Really good character. For least favourite character, that's quite a hard question. I'll probably just go with Ryan and say Ray, but it's less of being a bad character, more like an underdeveloped character. AK says, yes, I miss Woolworths stores, Pete. I wish Woolworths would come back. I used to go to Woolworths. I was very young back in the day. I think we all went to Woolworths when we were kids. There was the store to go to, whether it was pick and mix, the toys, or the films.
Well, you could get everything. They had everything in there.
Yeah. I don't think there's a store quite like it ever since.
See, when I was in Woolworths, I used to nick the pick and mix. That's the best thing. Pick and mix, pinch it.
Yeah. AK says, what's your thoughts on the Matrix 4 movie trailer? I'm a fan of the Neo Keanu Reeves. We did talk about that earlier on, didn't we?
Yeah.
It looks interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Bit unsure, but yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, so I'm interested to see it. The trailer didn't blow me away, but as a fan of the franchise, I'm looking forward to seeing if they cooked up a good enough story to tell, or if it's just going to be a cash cow. We will see.
It just seems too long after the original films, like nearly 20 years.
Yeah,
it's a bit like Bill and Ted. That just come out of nowhere as well.
That's the problem. You get this huge gap, and you're playing on nostalgia. And you never recapture, or very rare do you actually recapture that magic. And part of it is because filmmaking has changed so much in that time, and the way that people consume films. Your younger audience, which a lot of these are made for, they haven't got the attention span to follow a story. So now you've got to go into a film with action from the offset all the way through, and there's no time for character development. And a lot of filmmakers and the studios are forced into making films this way, not for people who like us, but for the younger generation. And ultimately, the films just don't. They fall apart for that reason. So there's a bit of a concern in that sense. With anything, there's a big time jump.
Yeah. Have you got anything to say, Ryan?
It's just the same thing what Ram said before. They're just rebooting the first film. That's what the new film is. It just feels like the same film that I watched from the original. I don't know why are they doing that. They should have continued from the last one, but no, they're just like rebooting it. Found out he's new all over again, which is just like. I just think it's like, what's the point? I think, as I said, first one should have been a standalone. Never should have made the sequels. The only did is just make money from the sequels, and that's it. should have just been original idea, standalone film. So yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, it doesn't really excite me, if I'm honest. It's just one of them. If I hear it's good, I'll go and see it. If not, I can take it or leave it. To be honest, I'm just not overly thrilled by it. Yeah. I'm gonna just have to pop off for a minute, Pete. My laptop battery's about to die. My charger's not working, so I'm gonna switch
That's all
laptops.
right, mate. AK says he also loves the T-shirt. He's also a fan of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman.
Oh, you want to see my back then?
AJ Movie Place, what's your favourite Marvel film and what's your favourite DC film?
Okay, that's easy. My favourite Marvel film is Winter Soldier.
Best film, yeah.
I mean, Captain America is my favourite character within Marvel because I'm very much attracted to that man out of time storyline and the sensibilities that character has and brings into our timeline. And I like the way Captain America is also written in the comics, in that you've got this character that you think would be, on face value, you think would be a character that goes with everything that the government says, but he's not. He's got his own set of principles and his own, and it goes against what the government. And you've got that in the Winter Soldier. You know, he wasn't a yes man. He's got his own morals, and they come into play. So I think Winter Soldier is a fantastic film. But like I said, biased because I love Captain America as a character. Yeah. And my favourite DC film, if we're talking about the newer DC films, I would say the Snyder cut of Justice League. It's day and night against what the Justice League. To have that film and then to have this film, you know, we've had films in the past where this has happened, where you've had a sort of director's cut, so to speak, come out, not to this extent, but these two films that are essentially the same, so polarizing. You know, you've got one that is so bad, and then you've got one that is fantastic. But if I have to go for an all-time favourite DC film of the whole lot, it would be Christopher Reeve's first Superman the movie. I grew up with it. It's a film that started it all. You know, it's fantastic. And no, I don't think there's been a better Superman than Christopher Reeve. He embodies that character. The look, you know, everything. He's just, yeah. Thank you for the question.
Matt says your best cinema experience, the film that blew you away.
I've answered this one before in a question on one of your videos before. My favourite movie experience was Endgame, because it's the only time that I've been to a cinema where the entire audience, there was a packed audience, was invested in the film. There was no noise. There was no. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was there watching it, and it was lively in the right sense. You know, no one spoiled the film. It was fantastic.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
My absolute favourite. I'm going to say I've got two best cinema experience, and these are like two classic horrors which I absolutely adore. One, I went to see the director's cut of The Exorcist at the cinema. What a brilliant experience! Like it was just me in the cinema in this booth, all by myself, which is like totally amazing. Only cost
You'll just have to excuse me. I've just got to go and get the charger. The phone's about to die. Sorry about this.
Oh no. Let's continue about them. So yeah, like seeing the director's cut, that one scene where she basically like you know crawls down the stairs, that like actually chill freaked us right out, but I wasn't scared. I just had goosebumps. I was like, oh, that's amazing. And with the fucking like restoration that the show was absolutely amazing. And then my next one, I went to see The Evil Dead, the original. As well. I went to see that at the View. Brilliant for a 5 hour. It was all quiet. Everyone was very invested in the movie as well. I was like, it's like one of those like amazing, like top-notch movies that basically brought life to the Evil Dead franchise, and also like first it was like because of like our first because like Evil Dead, the first one is basically an independent film, but like it would be because like it was I think it was Rosebud. I think it was Resonance Pictures. And so it was independent, and that's what brought like fun to it because like they had fun making whatever they want. They're gonna do whatever they want with it. Even that I had a like I think a low budget and everything. But what they did, how much revenue they got from the cinema, they done pretty well on that movie, and that was like one of the best experience I got to see at the cinema myself.
Cool. What about you, Andy?
Infinity War for me. That final 10 minutes, you could hear a pin drop. It was unbelievable. Great experience.
What about you, Paul?
I'd probably say my favourite cinema experience of recent memory is probably Mad Max Fury Road in IMAX. Love the Mad Max franchise anyway, so I was actually quite hesitant that they were bringing it back. But I remember seeing the trailers before, it looked awesome. But the trailer, like compared to the actual what I seen on screen, that film was just balls to the wall for like 2 hours, just non-stop. And in IMAX, it looked absolutely incredible. And I walked out of the cinema when that film dropped. And what year did that come out? Was it 2018?
2015.
Yeah, 2015 Mad Max. Yeah.
2015.
But yeah, I remember saying that was my favourite film of the year by a mile. When I went to see that, I absolutely loved it. I'd love to go and watch it again in IMAX. It was incredible.
For me, it'd probably be my first and only experience at the cinema, and that was seeing like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I've only ever been to the cinema once, but I really need to go.
You're missing all the cinema experience. Like watching a movie on the big screen is basically like it's a different experience than you watch it at home, because seeing that big screen, seeing the thrill, like with the whole surround sound and everything, it's amazing. Like it's totally different. Like you have different.
I always say about watching films on the cinema as well. The memory of the film sticks with you more. Like these Netflix films that come out, you just churning through them, just like there, yeah, the next. So you see a film on the cinema, and it like sticks with you. I always feel.
Yeah, another one I had was I went to see about 6 months before it came out officially or properly in the cinema was Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Saw it at a film festival in Leicester Square, and it was presented by Wes Craven. He came out on stage on the film and presented it, and that was really good.
Whoa, that's impressive. I'll definitely have to go to the cinema. I think I might actually go and see the new Bond film in the cinema. I think that'll be good.
See, now when I go cinema now, I always generally go early in the morning.
Unless it's like a big, massive blockbuster, if I'm going with a few friends, I'll normally try and go like in the early morning or mid-afternoon or something. Pete, I'm just going to say, mate, I'll stay for this question. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to pop off. I told me missus I'll be done by 10. That's okay.
Okay, and sorry about that, mate. That's okay.
No, it's fine. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, as always. Edward says, have you ever been to the cinema to see a movie where the audience have got up at the end and given a round of applause?
Yes. And that was actually Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Like I sat down and watched it, and basically at the end, everyone, I think all were stand up I'll give it a round of applause for Rami Malek's best performance. He's done pretty well, and he actually looked like the part. He looked like Freddie Mercury as well, and I think that was the best thing. He pulled it off. He knew what he was doing. I knew he's done all his research and everything, and basically he's just put love into the character and just made that his performance absolutely spot on, and he just knew what he was doing, and I really love that film.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
I've not really had it where the entire audience stood up and applauded, but when I was leaving, groups of women were applauding this film, and it was Rocket Man. Yeah, that's probably the closest I've come to people actually applauding the film. Yeah.
What about you, Paul?
I think again, like Andy, it wasn't the whole audience, but I think when I went to watch The Dark Knight on the opening night, that got a bit of a standing ovation, not by everyone, but I do remember a lot of people standing up and clapping when the film finished. But yeah, I think that's more of an American thing, isn't it? You don't really see it that much.
What about you, AJ?
Well, again, Endgame was one, but one of the ones I do remember mostly was it was the re-release of Empire Strikes Back. I went to see that in Leicester Square on opening night, the special edition version. Everyone started applauding at the scene where, not that they stood up, but everyone started applauding at the scene where Han Solo expresses his love to, or when Princess Leia says to him, "I love you," and he says, "I know." Everyone started applauding then, and then at the very end, it was just filled with Star Wars fans. Then everyone just stood up and were cheering at the end of the film. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
AK says, what's your best movie purchase you buy on Blu-ray Hunt and AJ Movie Place and you guys? What is the most film you're proud of having in your collection? I'm going to say. That's good.
What's the best?
That's a good question.
Best movie I purchased on Blu-ray hunting. Oh.
Yeah.
Someone else go first. So I think about it.
One that sprung to mind straight away. I bought the Friday the 13th box set, the second sight one, which I've got behind me there. But the only problem is, I didn't realise that they were reading box, so it's just sitting there in the plastic wrap. But apparently it's going for quite a bit on eBay now and that, but I'm going to keep hold of it. I'm thinking about getting a Region 3 Blu-ray player at some point next year maybe, but that sold out really quick and I was happy I got it even though I can't watch it.
I think for me is I'm going to say Freddy vs. Jason, because this is actually a pretty rare film to get on Blu-ray. You can't get a UK release, but it's pretty way to get, and CX is just selling it for ridiculous money for 12 quid. So, but lucky for me, I've got it because I've got this from Amazon and I've got my Prime subscription. I got this for at least £7 off, which is not bad. So I was happy I got that, and my other one is Child's Play 2 on Blu-ray, because this is also a rare one to get as well, because it's out of print. And luckily, CX had them in, and I just jumped the chance and got them. Even if it did cost us 18 quid, because due to CX putting the £2 postage on each item. But after, they probably my most treasured Blu-rays I've got, because how rare they are. It's just incredible. I know you can get other editions, even if they're only in America. But the thing is, with American titles, they're only the region A and the region locked. So that's what I find absolutely stupid. I think like every should be region free. So that means we can actually watch these films.
Yeah.
And but the good thing about Amazon Germany, they have like half of these films, and it's region B, and that's really good for us, because like if I'm not afraid if it's Jason, the American release is actually region free, but I just think like I might as well just get the German release just to save time, and that's like pretty like the most treasured thing I have in my collection.
What about you, Andy?
For me, it's probably like not like in terms of like special edition or anything that, but like in terms of like quality of the film. It was a blind buy for me. I bought it on DVD, and then once I watched it, I immediately went out and got the Blu-ray, and that was Boogie Nights. I absolutely love this and adore this film so much. It's fantastic. Just can't get enough of it. Love it. Dig. The soundtrack to it as well is so good. Scene with Alfred Molina at the end.
I still haven't seen Boogie Nights. That's another one to add to the list.
Yeah, get on it, Pete. You won't regret it.
This list is like a book.
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg's best film in my opinion.
Cool. What about you, AJ?
Yes, I think going back to Blade Runner 2049, when it first came out, I only bought the standard Blu-ray edition. Then obviously, like I said, that was before I upgraded to 4K. And I was up in CEX in just off of Oxford Street, one of the roads up there. I can't remember the name of the road. And they had the thicker one, the thick case 4K collector's edition. And I was really pleased to see that in there, and I grabbed that. Yeah, and that would go as one that I'm proud to have in my collection, because I actually rate 2049 over the original Blade Runner. I think it's a far superior film. I have issues with the first one. Yeah, I won't go into them now. It's too long. But I think the second one's a far superior film than the first one.
I agree with you as well, by the way.
Thank you.
Pete, I'm going to have to dive off, mate, if that's okay.
That's okay, that's totally fine,
yeah.
mate.
Cheers for having us on there, man. I've wanted to come for a while. Appreciate it. AJ, it's been fun meeting you too.
Thank you.
And I will speak to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of the stream. And I'll see you.
Mate.
Thanks, Paul. See you later, Paul.
See you, Paul. Bye.
And then there was 4.
Yeah. For me, it's probably one of the Doctor Who box sets, or one of the Graveyards of Honor Arrow box set. I really did like that set, or the Indiana Jones set. For me, really happy to have them in the collection. OK Movie says, thanks for asking all my questions. No problem, mate. Jill says, what's the most you paid for anything? That was a good question.
Are we talking about just film?
I'm going to gather so. I mean, if she's talking about anything, I'd probably say a video game. I paid about 200 quid for one, but for films, I've never paid no more than about 30 or 40 quid for a box set. I won't pay no more than that.
I think the most like thing I paid the most was probably my Switch, because it was like 200 quid.
Yeah,
so that's basically all I paid 200 quid out of my Universal credit. So I only had like basically I had nothing in the bank. But the thing is, like, I think the best thing about it is, like, you buy something that you're gonna like. That's the thing. Like, you buy it because you want it.
Yeah.
You want it in your collection. That's the thing. See, I haven't bought like any like big, massive, expensive anything. If I wanted to do something like that, I would have to save up for it. But the thing is, if I save up for it, and I kind of get it because the price goes up because it's out print. That's what bugs me. But anyway, I think it's the most you pay is the better you can get, because it's just the editions that you can actually get are absolutely spot on and beautiful.
What about you, Andy?
Probably say like, does a Lego set count?
Yeah, anything counts.
Is this your Batmobile?
No.
Whoa.
There's one Lego set I paid £600 for.
Whoa. Is that the Death Star one?
It's close. It's the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, man.
Big one. Yeah. Paid £600 for that. I do have the Death Star. I only paid £4 for that, but yeah, I do have the. I think there was once a couple of years ago when I had the money, I spent about £1,200 a week on Lego. Just the 1 week. I had the money and I went nuts, and I think I bought the Disney Castle, the Death Star, and the Millennium Falcon.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I do have the
you,
Batmobile, the big one.
The 89 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that one. I've got the Batwing as well.
Blinding.
I got the Batwing for Christmas.
Oh, wow. That is incredible.
Don't drop it. That's nice.
That is lovely.
Ooh. I want to mail out your phone, but I want to get confused with the reality.
That's very impressive, Andy.
Oh, thanks. I've got one from the animated series, which is even bigger than that. It's not Lego though, but it's on the floor from DC Collectibles, which sadly is a company which isn't around anymore. But yeah.
What about you, AJ?
All right. Well, I'll go with comic books. I did pay £200 for a CGC, which is graded comic book of issue 129 of Amazing Spider-Man, first ever appearance of the Punisher. That's now worth about £1,500. That was years ago, and also I did pay. I don't know if you can see behind me that full size alien head.
Yeah.
Just here, which is the alien head from Aliens. I can't really get closer up on it because my phone's plugged in. That was a considerable amount, shall we say.
Yeah.
But I've got no idea where that came from. I don't know the history of it or anything.
I have seen pictures on your Facebook page of it. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm going to do a thingy of it. When I do my collectible corner, that's going to be in next week. Not this week's one, next week's one. Because I want to get it wrapped back up and put away. So I'm going to do that.
Look forward to watching that. AK says, say my favourite pick and mix of movies and toys. I miss the store, and this was the memory of Woolworths. Yes, Woolworths was an amazing store.
Great
store.
Many
for everybody. There's never been a shop since, and I think every town centre or city that had a Woolworths in died a bit when they lost it.
They did. That was in the 2008 credit crunch.
Yeah, 2008. Just before Christmas they went, didn't they?
That's right, yeah.
Matt says, great screen, guys. I'm off now. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Matt.
Cheers, Matt. Speak to you soon.
AK says, I don't know why they take so long to make these franchise movies, such as The Matrix, Bill and Ted, like original, and you get connected. I agree, it should connect the audience in the cinema, but they took too long. Yeah,
They're just looking for money. It's just money, really.
Yeah,
they look at
it's a bankable title, so they're going to milk it.
Yeah, look at old IPs and think, what can we bring back? That's ultimately what it is. You know, Bill and Ted didn't work for me, the new one, because it became too. You know, you think in the older Bill and Ted's, you've always got the jokes like, you know, what number am I thinking of? 69. They didn't even include that joke because they were scared to.
Yeah.
Because you know the society, as things have changed. You know, so it didn't touch on that sort of humour that the first two had. So it didn't. Yeah, I've got it, and I don't mind it, but it's my least favourite Bill and Ted.
Yeah. The problem is a lot of these films fail to recapture the charm and what makes these films special when they bring them back after all these years. That's the thing.
That's right. And also with Bill and Ted, I felt that what's his face, Death, William Sadler.
William Sadler, yeah.
It felt like he'd forgotten how to play that character. It's like he'd lost touch with it. He didn't actually get back what he was in the second one. There was something missing in his performance. You know. But, yeah.
AK says directors should make the franchise movies 2 or 3 years gap, not very long gap. The movie franchise. Yes, you're right, mate.
Yeah, it's I think probably the one film for me where the gap's been like pretty big and the two movies are really, really good is the first two Terminator films.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is
How many years that
exceptions
was
to the
there?
rule.
So I think the first one was 84 and Terminator 2 was 91.
Oh,
It's about 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guarantee you that if James Cameron made a Terminator now, it wouldn't be because he's lost touch as well.
No,
He's lost touch as a filmmaker. He wouldn't recapture it. There are exceptions to the rule. I mean, look at keep going back to it. Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049. You know, the gap and you know that recaptured the world, everything. It was brilliant. So you get exceptions.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
AK also says, I loved Infinity War. Endgame was sad what happened with Iron Man. I would have liked to come back. That made me emotional with the scene from Endgame. I loved Captain America as well. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I like the story arc of Captain America in them more so than Tony Stark.
Oh, exactly.
Captain America is my favourite Avenger.
It's Iron Man for me.
He's mine as well. I think what they did with those two characters was just so tasteful to the series. It was just handled very, very well. I thought it was a fantastic way to say farewell.
Yeah. Sophie says she's been watching on and off, guys. You've been awesome. Thanks for watching,
Thanks,
Sophie. That's my favourite Star Wars movie, says AK Movies. The Empire Strikes Back. Best for me, growing up watching it and collecting Star Wars. Kenner figures back in the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them.
Getting them from Woolworths.
Yeah.
I still got mine on the TV.
Oh,
Brilliant.
wow.
Yeah, I've got loads of them on the TV.
Superb.
I know my stepbrother had a load of Kenner figures, kept them all sealed in the box. And what did he do? He sold them on a car boot for a pound ago.
Yeah.
Oh, he kicks himself still to this day. AK Movie says, what's your favourite movie director and what's your least favourite director's film that did not connect with you as a film lover?
Well, my favourite film director has got to be John Carpenter because I absolutely adore his work. He's done some amazing films. He's done The Thing. He's done Escape from New York. He's done Halloween. Like it's so on Precinct 13. You got They Live, Bridge Darkness, and the Mouth of Madness. But then, even Vampires. Vampires is an underrated film.
Yeah.
Underrated John Carpenter, James Woods, brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then I think my least favorite would be. I'm gonna have to say James Wan because I think he started off good. Like he brought us Soul, he brought us Soul. Then I think these movies have started to get a bit, but there were some good ones. Like I quite enjoyed Insidious, but then the Insidious series just went on for too long. Then we got Conjuring. The first one's really good. And then You know, it got the second one, and then it just started. Then that started to get into a franchise, and that's basically turned a bit crap. I am glad that he directed Fast and Furious 7. I'm glad he directed that because he brought basically a brilliant story to the Fast and Furious franchise, and I did enjoy Aquaman, but I wouldn't say it's the best DC film out there, but it's enjoyable. I just think James Wan's my least favorite.
What about you, AJ?
I'm gonna have to go with the easy option of saying Steven Spielberg. I think because you know he's a director whose career I was there at the start of and up to now, and obviously he's done the popcorn stuff, but then he's proved himself with dramatic films, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. Do you know what I mean? So he's grown as a filmmaker himself. He has had a few misfires along the way, but he's such an influential director. He knows what he's doing. That would be probably my favourite. He's a director that you can always rely on, in a sense. Now, is the question asking me who's my least favourite director, or has that director done a film that didn't connect with me?
And what's your least? I don't know. And what's your least director's film that did not connect? I'm just going to say least favourite director, I would assume, because I can't really understand that. Okay, if you could
who's the fella that directed Blood Rain and those sort of films?
Oh, Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He's awful, man. Yeah.
There's the name of someone who shouldn't be directed.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
So I've got sort of like two that are my staples, and that's Kubrick and Cameron, because I think that they've got some really, really good stuff in their catalogs. I probably would have to give the edge to Kubrick, because I think Kubrick's pretty much directed a masterpiece in every genre. If I'm honest, like sci-fi, war, period drama, horror. But one for me that I don't really connect with Kubrick is probably Dr. Strangelove. I don't know if I really get the humor in that film. If I'm honest, it's got great performances and great acting in it, but I still think it's a good film. It's probably my least favorite of his, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But as I said, he directed so many great films in so many different genres, but you always know you're watching a Kubrick film. His fingerprints are all over it. Particularly the stuff with Warner Brothers. But even great stuff like The Killing, really good crime drama. I massively love that film. I think it's so underrated. Spartacus and Paths of Glory, two great Kirk Douglas movies. But yeah, I just an absolute fantastic filmmaker who, didn't really do churn films out often either. I think like towards the end of his career, he sort of was doing like one a decade. And I remember when he passed away, because when he passed away, Clockwork Orange became commercially available. And I was really like the first time I saw it, because as I mentioned, the first time I saw it, I was about 9 years old, and what is this film? It blew me away. It's my dad's favorite film of all time as well. But I just think he's such a fantastic director, and I think you appreciate a director's work more as well when they're no longer alive, because it feels a lot more precious. That it's the same goes for like any sort of artist as well, like an actor or painter or anything like that. But yeah, just absolutely love his stuff. I'd say one of my least favorite directors is I think he's got a few good films in his catalog, but it has for me. It has to go to Michael Bay. I just get confused watching some of his films most times. The Transformers films, I think the first one's pretty good, and I think it's the best. I just think everything after that is pretty much garbage. The ones he's directed, anyway. I just think he's so over the top in special effects. Like, I think he just should work as like a special effects consultant for someone else. Because I think that's where he really truly shines. But in terms of storytelling, he's so poor. You just can't do it. And his humour sometimes in movies is atrocious. It just doesn't work. But they would be my choices.
I agree with you there about Michael Bay. Like the second Transformers film, the humour in that was atrocious.
Awful.
Such a nosedive from the first film. I thought the first film was actually pretty decent, but after then. But for me, favourite directors, obviously you got like Cameron and Kubrick, as you say. I'm slowly getting into them sort of films. I also have quite a lot of respect for like Clint Eastwood. Really liking some of his stuff.
He's very good.
I'm looking forward to Cry Macho, his new film, because he's directed that and starred in that, and he's like 91, isn't he? That's incredible.
91, yeah.
He's still making films at that age. And also there's a few like Joon-ho. I think he's really good, really like Parasite, and I'm looking forward to watching some of his other stuff.
See, now in my mind, I have a distinct separation between filmmaker and director. So Cameron, I would say, is a filmmaker because he writes his own material and then directs it. Spielberg is a director for hire, essentially. Do you know what I mean? So I do have this separation. Cameron was good. He was good. I'm not happy that he's focusing on Avatar all the time now. Avatar was an extremely weak film.
Thing is, right, Avatar, right, James Cameron can shut Avatar up his arse because I just don't give a shit about that film.
Yeah.
See, any time anyone says to me, "Oh, do you like Avatar?" my mind automatically goes to Dances with Wolves.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I think it's incredibly overrated.
It is essentially the same film.
Yeah, and I know there's the other one. Is it Ferngully or something?
Ferngully and Pocahontas as well. Yeah. They have the same story. Yeah.
But I just go to someone says Avatar, and my mind goes, "Oh, I want to watch Dances with Wolves."
Dances with Wolves is great.
I've got the thingy coming. I've actually got it. Not here. It's at my dad's. The 4-hour version.
Oh wow!
Blu-ray extended cut.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
Available in Germany, and my one's come from Australia.
Great. I love that.
We've only got the 3-hour cut over here, haven't we?
Yeah. It's a great film.
Yeah, I remember watching that on TV. That's a very long film, but it's brilliant.
Yeah, it beat Goodfellas at the Oscar as well. It won Best Picture.
Yeah.
1990.
Really good film.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's all right. AK Movie says, "What's your best games console, guys, and best game you played on that console, and which genre of games you like to play the most?" Well, for me, I'll just say like the Switch. I like playing on the Switch, and I like the Legend of Zelda series. Basically, adventure games with good stories that really interest me. But what about you guys?
I mean, I haven't played console games for years, and my sons have got them. They've got PS5, PS4, all that, and I have tried playing Call of Duty, but I'm not fast enough with it. For me, it would be PlayStation because that's what I know. And I would say like the Lego Star Wars or Lego Indiana Jones games. My middle son, when he was really young, he had speech dyspraxia, so he couldn't actually speak. He does now. He's fine. He speaks. He had to go to a specialist school and all this. So I used to sit there and play. When he couldn't speak, he got into playing the Lego games, and I'd sit there and play with him, and so I've got a lot of good memories from back then with him and him learning to play these games. So yeah, that's what would be my choice.
What about you, Ryan?
You see with me, I always will stick with PlayStation. I've been playing PlayStation for years, and my favorite console I like to play on is probably PS3, because it has like all the best games that
Yeah.
like the things that they have. It's like one of my favorite games that actually came on the console was Batman Arkham City. It's a fun game that you can play. I also like The Darkness 2 as well, based on it's like a different separate story to the original Darkness comics as well. And I'm also a big fan of Red Dead Redemption, the original.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Very
It's
good
an
game. The
absolute-
Playing
sequel
that.
is fantastic as well. Some of the best storytelling in gaming. Games like The Last of Us as well. Fantastic.
And you had a zombie Red Redemption as well, didn't you?
Yeah, there was
Yes.
Undead Nightmare.
Yeah,
Red
yeah.
Dead. Undead Nightmare. Undead Nightmare was a really good DLC. That was really fun. I actually loved that DLC.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I just really sort of have memories of the PS1, 2, and 3. So PS1 would be Crash Bandicoot and Tekken 2.
Oh, yeah.
Love those games. PS2 for me would be GTA Vice City. Just the music in that game alone, just outstanding. The whole 80s music, fantastic. And for PS3, probably Arkham City and Arkham Knight for me.
Yeah.
See, my boy,
Anything to do with
he
that,
loved all them.
Yeah.
He loved
They'd be the best ones for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Best Batman games ever, I think.
Yeah.
AK says, wow, that's cool, Andy. Very nice Batwing. Nice to have, Andy. Very impressive.
Thanks. Thanks, AK.
Edward says, what's your favourite Stephen Graham?
This is England.
Oh.
Yep. I'm going to say,
I'm going to
this
say
is
this is England.
Well, yeah, I remember watching that. Good film, difficult watch, but yeah. What about you guys, Andy?
He sort of pops up, doesn't he, in like all sorts of different types of films. Because he was in, I think he was in Public Enemies with Johnny Depp.
Yes, he was. He played a small role in there. He was even in that new Hellboy film, didn't it? I'm sure he was in that.
I've not seen the new Hellboy film. I heard it was terrible, so I've avoided it.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
it's not a really good film.
Yeah, so.
I can't get my head around it. It's got too much CGI. I like practical effects, like what they used for the original.
He was very good in Line of Duty as well.
Yeah. For me though, one film I always forget he's in, and it's a film I mentioned before. He plays the record producer. Was Rocketman?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've yet to see Rocketman.
Yeah.
And he was in the Irishman as well.
Yeah. He was in the Irishman. Yeah.
He was in Boardwalk Empire, wasn't he?
I've not seen Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, all right. He
No,
played,
I haven't.
all right. Yeah, he was good in that.
He was in Pirates of the Caribbean as well. He played in the fourth one.
He was in
one
of them.
Yeah, Gangs of New York as well.
It's loads of stuff he's been in.
I think he's slowly getting quite famous now, isn't he? He seems to be appearing more frequently and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sophie says, Andy, if things were missing in your house, it was not me. Haha.
You have to find it first, Soph.
AK Movie says, I love Aquaman movie, underwater scenes and fights. Yeah, it was a great film.
No, never really caught my attention.
I felt it was too busy.
Yeah.
Very busy film, loads going on, loads of hopping around different places. Like I said, on 4K, it looks fabulous. If I was going to show off a 4K film to someone, that would be one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a very busy film.
I agree. AK says, I agree the first Transformers was the best, apart from the other Transformers, not great. Yeah. Bumblebee and the first Transformers film are the only really ones you need to watch.
See,
I
the
didn't mind
thing
the
for
third
me
one.
with the third one's the best out of the sequels, I think.
Yeah.
It's the best of a bad bunch.
Mm.
The thing for me with Bumblebee though was the first 10 minutes was superb, but then it turned into ET.
Yeah, it did. Pretty much, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Girl on her alien.
Yeah.
But again, Haley Steinfeld, she was fantastic in it.
Oh, she's great in most,
Oh,
like
yeah.
True Grit and Edge of
Yeah.
17. She's wonderful, man. She's great in most stuff. Yeah.
Alan's here. Hi, everyone. Hi,
Hi,
Alan.
Alan.
Thanks for being
Bloody hell, I hit the 3 hour mark.
Yeah. Oh, man. Where we go now with the comments? AK says, my favourite is the PS1 and PS2 consoles. I'm a fan of PlayStation consoles.
Yeah.
Good, AK. I've seen some of your videos in your collection. You've got a good collection, mate.
Yeah.
Kermit said Stephen Graham was in Get Santa, an excellent Christmas movie.
I didn't know
Never
that.
seen it.
I've not seen Get Santa. I've heard of it. Not seen it.
Yeah, I have.
He's been in loads, isn't he?
Yeah.
Southend Arts Council's here and said Stephen Graham was good in Time with Sean Bean. Oh yeah, that's that recent TV show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it, but I can remember it coming out.
I
I've heard a lot
want
of
to
positive things about it.
It's on BBC iPlayer, so that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's like other ones I want to watch here.
Sophie says she recently watched him in White House Farm. It's been a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He does tend to pop up like in just random stuff. Yeah.
It's surprising, really.
Yeah.
Also in Christmas Carol recently.
I think that was the one with Guy Pearce, I think.
Is it?
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still seething over the fact that it never got a physical media release at all. That's really good. I was hoping the BBC would bring it out. I was hoping to see it turn up, and it never did.
I think that what the BBC like actually disappointed us for was when they done, was it the War of the Worlds TV series, the new adaptation?
Yeah,
They made it more dramastic, like too dramastic instead of like a sci-fi movie, like sci-fi series. They focused on more like dialogue, seeing the emotions on the characters. Well, of course you're going to see that, but you hardly see anyone get vaporized.
No,
That's the thing.
When I watched that, I felt that I was watching something that had been edited down massively. I felt there was loads missing.
It wasn't a good series.
No, it was poor.
And Sophie says, Rye, we don't talk about War of the Roads.
What? Did you say War of the Roads? War of the Roads? War of the Roads.
War of the Roads. War of the Roads.
War of Waterloo Road.
Yeah, I'll get there eventually.
There's got one War of Waterloo Road. There's a nice one.
AK Movie says, what's your favourite Christmas movie you like to see every year at Christmas? My favourite is Home Alone, Jingle All the Way, and The Grinch.
I was just thinking about this today. For me, Die Hard.
Yeah.
The Christmas movie. I'll always watch it each Christmas. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, it's classic.
Never seen that.
Classic, really absolute classic. Yeah, really
the best National Lampoon's movie.
Yeah. I like the first one as well, but the Christmas one's the best.
Christmas one I think tops it. It's very good.
Yeah.
I watch that every year. Home Alone I watch every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
what
the Grinch Jim Carrey one. That's good.
Yeah. Love Actually.
Oh yeah, I do quite like that. The Disney Santa Claus films, I quite like the first one with Tim Allen, isn't it?
Yeah. I like the 1985 Santa Claus film as well, with Dudley Moore.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good film. Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. After Christmas. I didn't mind that. I think that's an Aardman film, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm. So many of them. Yeah. I remember.
Scrooged. Richard Donner.
Yeah.
Elf, Bad Santa.
Elf's a classic. Love that.
Elf is fantastic.
Elf's a go-to.
Yeah.
Bad Santa is a classic as well.
Yeah.
Scrooge with Bill Murray. I like that one.
Yeah.
Mixed Nuts.
That's Steve Martin, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's loads. I usually do.
Yeah,
in the lead up to Christmas, I usually pick a Christmas film a night.
Yeah.
Leading up. Do you know what I mean? All we do is me and the kids and the missus, there's 3 children. We pick one each, and we have to sit and watch each other's choice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I will generally sometimes pick films that they've never seen.
Fred Claus.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yes. Classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favourite version of Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I like how it just turned into Christmas films that it's not even December.
Coming up. You're around the corner soon.
You go into the supermarkets now, they've got all the Christmas decks up ready.
No, for God's sake.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Miracle on 34th Street as well.
Yes, that's a good one. Both the original and its remake.
Yeah.
That's the recent War of the World. I think
It's
it was 2019.
Yeah, I think it was the 2019, and I think
Rafe
it's
Spall
the Roy
and
Kyle.
Thomas. I think
It's Rafi Spall and Robert Kyle.
Yeah, and Elena Thomas, who was in Poldark.
Yeah.
Sophie says, "Do you remember Day of the Triffids with Eddie Izzard? Is that the remake one they did about 10 years ago?"
Yeah, I heard that's maybe terrible.
Yeah,
I can remember it. But
I watched it, but I can't remember anything about it at all.
I'm just gonna watch the original movie. It's like there's no point keep making Day of the Triffids all the time.
No.
Sophie said the recent BBC one. Stephen Graham is also coming to Channel 4 in a new series with Jodie Comer called Help. Yes, I've seen that advertised a lot. That looks really good. Last Christmas, is that the recent one with her from Game of Thrones in it?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, actually. I didn't mind that.
I haven't seen it.
I've not seen it. It's got Henry Golding in it as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was very good in it. He was very charismatic in it. It was. And I don't particularly like her as an actress, but I thought she was very good in this, playing off of him. Yeah, so it's worth a watch. I do have it actually.
Yeah. AK says his daughter loves The Grinch and Home Alone.
Oh, cool.
Great choices.
Yeah.
Kermit says, "That's right, Pete. Muppets Christmas Carol. You can't go wrong with a bit of Kermit." Definitely. What It's a Wonderful Life could be the quintessential Xmas film. Yeah, definitely. 11:15 now, and we're at the last of the comments. So, shall we finish up for tonight?
Yeah.
Can do if you want. Yeah.
We'll be up. Oh, this is actually the same time that we finished. I think it was 3 hours and 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I think we finished around what time? It was around 11ish.
Final comment we have is from Mark Lee's Scrooge the Musical with the late great Albert Finney, and of course the brilliant Alistair Sim one.
Oh, the Alistair Sim one's really good. Yeah.
I think
really
Albert
good.
Finney was a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
He was
definitely.
In Skyfall, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was.
Aaron Brockovich as well.
And Big Fish with
Yeah, Big Fish. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favourite Tim Burton films. That is.
Soph says she'll call us after the stream. Thanks, Soph. So anyway, thank you, AJ, for coming on today. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Great to meet you, AJ.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to meet you as well.
hopefully, if you want me back on in the future anytime, just let me know.
Definitely. I'll definitely be contacting you again.
Yeah.
AK says, Pete, lovely streams always. Thumbs up to you, mate. Thanks, AK Movies.
Thank you.
And Kevin says, bye, everyone. Sorry I was late for the stream. No
That's
problem,
fine.
Alan. Thanks for
No worries,
joining. Amazing. So, yeah. And thanks to Paul Tambs for joining. It's been a
Yeah.
brilliant night. And
Mhm.
wow, I can't believe we've been on here for over 3 hours. It's gone really quickly.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
And it's longer than my stream from last week.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
want to promote your stream for Friday night, Em?
Yeah, if anyone wants to come and join on Friday, we have the special guest, which is Slayer Reviews himself, Vanda, and the topic of that stream is going to be about superheroes. So if you want to come along, come along. It's going to be fun. But the stream will probably end up like either 4 or 5 hours because you don't know with Vanda, because we can go long just talking about Spider-Man No Way Home or whatever. So if you want, just come along.
I might have to join that one because, yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, yeah. Thanks everybody for watching, and
you.
remember to subscribe to AJ, Ryan, Andy, and of course Paul. All their links are in the description, and we'll be back again next week at the same time at 7:30 with special guests Florentina Piconti and Sophie's Retro Revival. So until next time, bye.
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 Later.